Spirit guides show me what's relevant for the zodiac sign of Pisces. Let's start with the disclaimer. This is a general reading. This means that not everything that is mentioned here in this reading is going to be a perfect match for what's going on in your situation. Always listen to this with an open mind. Listen with discernment and listen to this understanding that even though I'm saying this is a 7-day forecast, it can resonate whenever. And the point that I'm trying to make is give the situation a chance to play out. It may not resonate initially because you might not recognize the events in the reading because they haven't played out yet. Tarot classes are available on my website. They are available monthly. Beginning and intermediate classes are available on my website. Take a look at AngelicAscentionsTarot.com for more information. We're going to go over delicate topics. Consider that a trigger warning. And let's dive in. Let's see what might be playing out for you. Pisces Nation for the next 7 days. Let's get into it. I fell on the floor. Spirit wants me to call attention to your ability to focus. Pisces. It might be difficult for you to focus. There could also be a Sagittarius in your midst. There could be someone hyper-focused on you. You might be pretty infatuated with the moon. I know, random topic, random subject. Looks like Pisces, you've been going through something. There might be some things that are kind of unexpected that might happen this week, Pisces. So don't be so fixed. I don't like to put it that way because I'm not trying to tell you what to do, but at the same time, I want to advise you, please don't be too fixed on feeling like you need to have control over your situation or your circumstances. Don't worry if things are a little bit rocky, unexpected, and shaky, and you're feeling a bit frustrated about that at the beginning of the week. Things will stabilize because it looks like that's what you're looking for. You're looking for stability. Some of you are looking for a stable relationship. Some of you might find yourself soon in a stable relationship. Some of you Pisces, if you're open to love, there's a Gemini that just stepped into your reading. There's a Scorpio, there's a Cancer, there's an Aries. Aries is dominating your reading, by the way. This is Pisces. Some of you are on the Pisces-Aries cusp. Or you're Pisces dealing with Aries. You got both of those zodiac signs in your own natal chart, or you know someone with that. You're single these days. It looks like you definitely have some people that are definitely coming after you, very interested in you. This is coming in off of a breakup. That's what I think I see on the table. The breakup. Spirit guys, show me more about this. Yeah, you blocked somebody. You're giving somebody the silent treatment. Somebody feels very shut out of your life, and it looks like somebody might feel a bit betrayed. Somebody might feel the need to move on from something, but something brings you up in this person's thoughts this week. I want to call you Sagittarius, but I'm well aware that I'm reading for Pisces. That's not your opposite. Your Pisces, your opposite is Virgo. Virgo usually shows up. You got the Taurus, Scorpio. It's the highlighted zodiac sign. There's a lot going on social media. There might be some things that are occurring with your car this week. Some of you might need a car, or you might be in need of car repairs. There's someone in your life that you might view as selfish and self-centered. Some of you are readers, or you're just spiritually gifted. Some of you could possibly be visiting a psychic, maybe for some advice on your situation, because it does look like you feel lost. It looks like things have gotten kind of tough. Okay. So if you're involved in an emotional situation with someone, whether it's romantic or it's platonic, it looks like somebody might be making an exit from a situation, blocking someone, giving somebody the silent treatment, as I mentioned. Somebody might be literally blocking someone. Or if this is someone that's trying to send you a message, they may feel like their messages are not getting through. Or then maybe you're deliberately not reading them. I think Pisces, if you have messaged someone, someone has seen your message, there could be a delay in someone getting back to you. Sometimes, for some of you, this is a deliberate situation. Somebody is blocking you. They are deliberately not responding. But you can definitely expect some communication. You can expect a message, some news coming through. Possibly from a Sagittarius. Somebody in your situation, Pisces or cross-watcher, may have an issue here with drinking. Somebody might be drinking heavily. They might be heavily intoxicated while they're driving. So this is a special reminder from Spirit to be mindful of that. Be mindful of being a responsible, I can't say a responsible alcoholic. That sounds flippant, right? Somebody is an alcoholic. I don't like to label people, but that's specifically how I hear the message being given to me. That's the download that I hear. So maybe that's how you're viewing a situation. You're viewing someone as being an alcoholic. Maybe you feel like you're watching somebody's addiction kind of spiral out of control. And maybe you wish someone would be more responsible, whether it's with drinking or it's with something else, especially if we're talking about children. Relationships and bonds with children feel like they've been broken. They feel like they've been damaged in some sort of way. So this could be you repairing that within self, or this is possibly a parent stepping up, attempting to repair a bond where maybe there has been some abandonment, and maybe there has been a lack of responsibility, a lack of accountability for a lot of pain, a lot of frustration. This could be you and a friend, possibly, for some of you Pisceans. I feel like somebody was once confused maybe about you, or some of you might be confused about somebody in your social circle, about whether or not somebody is real or not. Hey, Nan 4360, thank you for being here. So I see somebody approaching you, or this is you possibly Pisces approaching someone, but very likely you're going to be approached by a fire sign, or somebody with fire in their natal chart. Aries, Leo, Sag, this could easily be you. Pisces, you might have fire in your natal chart, as I mentioned to you before. Now with work, this is where you're putting together a strategy, or this is where Spirit is saying, you know what, Pisces, it might be time to put together a strategy. This week, it feels like you're confident, you're calm, you come across as motivational. And I think this week you might be kind of trying to regulate your nervous system. You might be under a lot of pressure. You might be having a lot of anxiety. Maybe this is with work. Maybe it's with something else in your life. It does look like you've been struggling for something. You've been going through something for a while. Maybe it's an addiction, or this is you. What you might be struggling with is watching somebody's addiction and feeling like that's where the struggle is. But to be honest, this feels like this is where the obstacle is. You're going to need a time to reset your mind. Like I was telling you, there's something about your nervous system, something about your breathing. It seems like you might be hyperventilating, or you're just you're having an anxiety attack. The Spirit is definitely telling you something about I don't know if this is like a fight or flight thing. I don't quite get it, Pisces, but I think that your thoughts might be swinging from one thought to the next. And then it seems like your thoughts are spiraling. Next thing you know, it seems like you're panicked. So like I mentioned to you, this feels like this is in reaction. What I think is that this is your reaction to something. Like I mentioned to you, you might not feel like you have control over your circumstances. So this might cause your thoughts to pace. This is your spirit guide saying, come back to center and to regulate your emotional state. You might have to find yourself doing this, taking a few deep breaths and calming your mind, okay, in certain situations, Pisces. But on the positive side of things, yeah, you got some opportunities coming through. So there could be some opportunities to turn some things around and change some situations where the flow of things may have been a bit hindered. Or what we talked about, these obstacles, is this frustration that maybe you're dealing with. You're feeling like you're struggling through something, or you're feeling discouraged. There's an opportunity to turn things around. This is definitely in terms of your work. But just know that in the background of your work situation, it just seems like somebody's trolling you. Somebody, let me see what the heck they're doing. I don't quite understand. Pisces. They say your opposite sign, Virgo. Virgo shows up to the reading. Pisces, there's an earth sign in your energy. Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. Okay. It looks like somebody's trying to slow you down. It looks like somebody's trying to get in your way. But they're like thoroughly entertained by it. Okay? So somebody is a bit bothersome. Okay? Somebody gets a kick out of seeing you go through something is what it looks like. Some of you Pisceans, maybe there's an issue with, I don't know, a steady place to live. Because it looks like you're looking for stability, and that stability seems like it's kind of eluding you right now. That might be where you're frustrated. Okay, somebody's taking a lot of joy in your misery. This is just side information. It's not like this is going to make a difference in your situation. The thing is, I think you'll notice this. And it seems like somebody's trying to like corner you into this, like they want you to be going through something. I don't know. You might have a pet Pisces. Maybe you're just a very gentle soul when it comes to animals. Or there's an animal, a pet that's just near and dear to your heart, whether they are here on this earthly plane or they passed away and you're reminded of them. Yep. So this whole thing with your car, your transportation, it's either yours or somebody else around you. Somebody else could be going through a transportation issue and you're helping them out. Or this is you and you recognize that your car needs some servicing or whatever this happens to be. Just be prepared, okay, when it comes to something having to do with your car. Okay, I'm just thinking it's going to be a simple reading for your birthday season. Pisces. There's a lot of emotional issues that are going to be coming out for you. They're coming out, they're bubbling to the surface, okay? There's been some emotions that you've been pushing down. We talked about your relationship dynamic with an adult figure, an elder, whether this is a parent, a teacher, whomever, an elder sibling. There's feelings of abandonment that are going to come to the surface. This is going to be an emotional week for you. Where some things that maybe you thought that you dealt with, or some things you're like, I'll deal with this later. I'll put these emotions on the back burner. It's coming up. Certain situations may trigger this. Or if this doesn't have anything to do with you and it has more to do with somebody else in your life, like I mentioned to you, there has been some abandonment issues. There's a parent that maybe wants to fix the damage that was caused, okay? So that could be what I'm saying. Yep, we talked about it. Control. Unless some of you are dealing with someone who's controlling, or this is you, again, wanting more control over your circumstances. Situations seem like they're out of your hands. So let's talk about it, Pisces. Your faith is going to be tested this week. Yeah, but your angels are standing by. Your prayers have been heard if this was ever a question of yours. This is where there's a turning point in your situation. This is where there's been, like I said, some struggle. Those struggles turn into opportunities. So what you do with these opportunities in these 24 hours in a day that you're dealt with, that you're offered, is going to be entirely up to you. You could be spending your days worried about things or focused on the solutions. It's going to be entirely up to you. I think there's a career change here for some of you. I think when it comes to your money, some of you could be maybe feeling a bit confused about your career path and about really what you want to do long term. Some of you could possibly be thinking about leaving a job. Or for some of you, what might be ending is a contract with work. I think slowly but surely, when it comes to your stability, what you feel is maybe eluding you around this period of time, I think this stability is coming in slowly but surely, or something that you really want, something that you've been praying for and asking for as far as your stability is concerned. That, yeah, I think things begin to shift for you in your situation, but something is definitely going to require patience. Fire energy. Aries, Leo, Sagittarius is dominating your reading. Some of you have a legal issue. This legal issue may have something to do with finances. This legal issue has something to do with your baby's father. You might have a co-parenting situation. Some of you might be in court, maybe due to a child support situation or some sort of dispute when it comes to custody of a child or visitation of a child. It looks like somebody might want to visit a child, see a child, this sort of thing. Maybe after a parent has, like we talked about, they haven't been around for a minute or they haven't communicated in a minute. All of a sudden they come back on the scene. And this is where communication may possibly take place. It seems like there's an issue between you and someone, especially if this is a co-parenting issue. I see someone blaming you or casting blame on somebody else, not taking full accountability. So if there's a conversation here that maybe you're hoping to have with someone, this conversation might possibly get a bit tense, might get a bit heated, especially with family members, or something, maybe a conversation about family could possibly take a left turn. There's a Taurus that shows up in the reading. A Scorpio, as I mentioned to you. I think some of you are slowly but surely getting back into relationships. Your love life seems like it's a topic this week. I think some of you are single. I think you're single deliberately for some of you Pisces because this is what keeps you emotionally safe. It protects you from heartbreak, the heartbreak that you've dealt with in the past, or the heartbreak that you dealt with growing up in your upbringing. Your guides are reminding you to take care of yourself, Pisces. It seems like you have a tendency to put yourself last, which is a very noble thing. But it seems like your spirit guides are saying, make sure that you're on the list too. The list of taking care of yourself, since we're talking about focus. We're not talking about being selfish, but we're also talking about integrating yourself in a day. In a day's work. It seems like you're very focused on work. You're very fixated on work. But I'm saying throughout the day. It seems like your day might be focused on tending to everybody else's needs. But when you're given from an empty cup. So spirit guides are saying, again, make sure that you're ranked high on the list as far as self-love and taking care of yourself. Spirit guides, what is the advice for the Pisces nation? Random side note. Pisces, before we even go into that, Spirit's definitely calling attention to your mental health. Taking some time to go out in nature. And, sometimes that can be taken for granted. Going out in nature. It seems like your spirit guides want you to break this monotony, this mental spiral. Going out in nature might help you to ground your energy. Going out in the elements may actually do something for your mental health. So maybe this is you going to the park, going for a walk, going to the beach. Something to break yourself out of, like I said, this mental spiral, this ruminating energy. Something that you're working on or hoping for. Maybe you're trying to keep your expectations high. Something might end up surpassing your expectations. I'm just trying to tell you some opportunities and some possibilities may open up for you. This is coming straight from Spirit. That's why they're telling you to be flexible. Some things that you're trying to control are going to be out of your control. When it comes to your work, yeah, you may be getting advice from someone, or these are people coming to you for advice. Pisces. So many things that you're really funny. Maybe that's what I was saying in the reading. Okay, so maybe this is you. No, Pisces, maybe you're a comedian. Or you just have a comedic ability. Okay? People might feel like you have a good sense of humor. Maybe you could possibly be giving a good laugh to someone. To me, this is somebody laughing to keep from crying. I don't know. I just feel a lot of emotional upheaval for you this week. Not necessarily a bad thing. This seems like this is much needed, Pisces. Especially if you've been holding in a lot of emotions. Like I said, maybe it's just easier for you not to deal with emotions. Or maybe you don't do well with emotions. But they're coming forth this week. And spirit guides are saying that's not a bad thing. This might be a very cleansing cry. I don't know, Pisces. The advice, Holy Spirit, for the Pisces nation. For the next 7 days, I'm picking up a lot of chest congestion for you, Pisces nation. I was mentioning to you something's going on with your breathing. I don't know if somebody has asthma, pneumonia, anxiety, something like that. Spirit guide, show me the advice for the Pisces nation for the next 7 days. You're extremely resilient, especially with a lot of pressures, all the pressures you've been dealing with. And this is Spirit telling you, give yourself credit for that, for your resilience, your ability to bounce back, when maybe you might feel like you don't have it in you. I feel like your guides are saying that when it comes to your love life, which maybe you've been feeling a bit pessimistic about, your optimism about this may return. Your optimism about your career, your motivation for your career may possibly return, or maybe it's just been at a low, or maybe you're feeling like, I don't know if this job is for me, or the pizzazz that you once had for a job may have kind of fizzled. It may return. Your guides are definitely encouraging you to embrace change. There might be some resistance, right? We talked about flexibility. Your guys are saying the best thing to do for you is to release that resistance. If you're looking for answers as you're going through a transition in your life, your guides are telling you those answers show up for you. I think that there's going to be some quick-paced progress for you. This is going to, it's all up to you though. Spirit is saying that what's contingent upon your side, that this success, okay, this progress is contingent upon, like I mentioned to you, how you utilize those 24 hours in the day. Your guides are encouraging you to move forward. Whatever you know must be done at this period of time, your guides are saying do it. It might be difficult. It doesn't feel like it has to be difficult. It just might be your state of mind that views something as being more difficult than it really is. Thing is, what Spirit wants you to know, what they want to dawn on you this week is that divine timing steps in. So if there's something that's meant for you, something's meant to be in your life, even if someone's, you might feel like someone's trying to hinder that for you. Your guys are saying, don't worry about it. What's meant to be yours is going to be yours. It won't pass you by. Your guides are aligning your path. So your success is assured with something. What you guys want you to do is to heal this attachment wound, because it definitely feels like there's a codependency type of there it is. There's something to do with codependency. Even the count agrees. I wanted to say some sort of attachment. Somebody might be attached to the need to be needed. But this is you no longer feeling like you have to overprove your value to somebody. So you're stepping away from that. Finding a way to do that, to finally resolve this. With that, Pisces Nation and Cross Watchers, there's a Cancerian in your reading. So by the way, this concludes your 7-day forecast with Angelic Ascensions. Thank you, Pisces Nation, for joining me today. A beautiful, blessed, productive birthday season, or what am I trying to say? Belated birthday season. I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace out, Pisces Nation. Aries, happy birthday, Aries Nation. Let's dive in. This is a general reading, Aries. Not everything mentioned in this reading is going to be a direct fact. Some things may not resonate directly, but you might be the observer of certain things in the reading, or certain things may play out later. So always listen to this with an open mind and with discernment. Please avoid making any rash decisions based on a general reading. If you'd like a read based on your own personal energy, I do offer personals. You can find this information on my website, AngelicAscensionsTarot.com. I'm also offering tarot classes. Beginner classes open up again next month, as well as intermediate classes. Again, this information can be found on my website, AngelicAscensionsTarot.com. We're always going to go over delicate topics. Consider that a trigger warning. Aries Nation, let's dive in. See what's playing out for you over the next 7 days for your birthday season. I heard parental. Parental advisory. I don't know. It looks like there's something that maybe your kids could be watching, listening to. May not be appropriate for their age. So you might be doing some monitoring, some patrolling when it comes to kids. You got a lot of fears this week that I think you've been entertaining in your head. I think, Aries, there might be some people that are telling you how you ought to think. People are putting a lot of expectations on you, and people are telling you how you should be living your life. It looks like you're stepping away from that. Whatever expectations people have of you, or whatever they think you ought to be doing, it seems like you're stepping away from that and you're doing, thank you, what you feel is best for you. It looks like you got some fears that you're entertaining. Some of the things that you're worried about this week, Aries Nation or Cross Watcher, you're worried about things that may never actually even materialize. These things may not even happen. So you guys are trying to bring you back to reality when it comes to certain things that you're thinking about and that are on your mind. I think you're focused on a loss. Something that you've lost, if this is a tangible item, then it's that. If we're talking about a relationship, then it's that. Maybe you feel like you lost somebody. Possibly somebody is feeling like they lost you. And they're not taking it well, Aries. This could be a romantic relationship. It could be platonic. But it's definitely with a fire sign. For some of you, Aries, Leo, Sag. I heard myself say air and then stopped. I was trying to say Aries, and for some reason I couldn't get the full word out, but I said air. So we're talking about air signs here. Aquarius, Libra, Gemini could be relevant in your situation. Are you, this is Aries. Then we're talking about a Libra possibly, and you got Justice sitting right here in my hand. A Libra is relevant in your situation. You're viewing someone as irresponsible. Or perhaps that's how somebody treated you. They were completely irresponsible when it came to your heart, your emotions. So it seems like what you're having an issue with is letting somebody go. Either it's letting someone go or letting something go. Because it looks like somebody is clinging to something. Like somebody feels like something is unreplaceable. Irreplaceable is the word that I'm looking for. Some of you have co-parenting responsibilities with someone, Aries. Maybe you got some things that maybe you need to discuss. Since we're talking about irresponsibility, and if we're talking about a co-parenting relationship, it seems like one parent might be more responsible, and there might be a co-parenting partner that's less responsible. You get it. Somebody's taking more responsibility. The other person is coasting along. So maybe you wish somebody would be more involved, more hands-on when it comes to parenting or whatever. It looks like somebody has you in a third party, Aries or Cross Watcher. Listen to me carefully when I say not everyone has a third party. Not everyone listening does. If this is your reading, this might be you. Might be. Especially if you happen to not be in contact with someone deliberately. It looks like this is, maybe you're not in contact with someone because maybe there's a forced situation. Maybe there is a legal situation that's maybe keeping you and someone from being able to communicate. Maybe something like a restraining order or whatever. For some of you, it's deliberate. You don't want to talk to somebody because they bring you a lot of drama. Or this is something, you found out some stuff about this person. You found out some issue about them. There's some lies, some cheating may have happened. I did say somebody has you in a third party. Somebody comes across as very manipulative. Aries. Maybe somebody's moody. Somebody could possibly be that way. Maybe somebody's nice to you one minute, the next minute they're angry. It's like, I don't know, kind of like moodiness. Definitely trust your inner voice, trust your gut feeling around in certain situations. I promise you, some of you do have a legal situation. Either you do or somebody around you does. This seems like if it is a legal situation, this is something that's keeping you and somebody apart. I think somebody wants you. I think somebody really wants you. I think that somebody may have looked for your values, your likeness in someone else, and they can't seem to replicate that. So I think somebody is realizing the truth about something. For some of you, what you're realizing the truth about is your inner compass, your intuition. It's telling you something is up. You're definitely sensing that there's an off vibe with somebody. Aries, I'm gonna be real, okay? I think that maybe you're noticing that something is over. Something might have been over for the longest time. It just seems like somebody is prolonging an ending. Like you're holding on to something because it hurts too much to let go. But I think that what you're realizing is that it has to, for the sake of your own sanity and the sake of your own mental health. You're realizing that something in your life might need to go. That something is over. Something has run its course. So as sad as you are about something, about maybe having to walk away from something entirely, it feels like that's what you're realizing. Maybe you're in a dead-end situation with someone. So you might be noticing somebody's energy pulling a bit back. Somebody this week is acting a bit detached. There could be some gossip going on, or this is somebody possibly venting to other people about their feelings for you. Whether or not this is a past tense situation and you walked away from someone a long time ago, or this is something that you're in the thick of this week, deciding whether or not it's time to step away from this. For others of you, you've been away from someone for a minute. It's been that way for a while. If somebody has been in a third-party situation and somebody has been prolonging that situation, it seems like maybe that's what someone is realizing that they're ready to walk away from. Especially if you feel like someone chose someone else over you. That third-party situation has either ended or it is coming to an end. Or this is someone getting this stark realization that this isn't working. Somebody could be getting advice about you. Somebody's talking about you. Your name is definitely coming up in conversations. Aries or cross-watcher. You definitely have somebody watching you. There's a lot of eyes on you where you are possibly watching somebody. Since you can't talk to them, you might be watching them. I don't know. Maybe talking to them anyway, because I was going to say, no, you're not talking to them. You're watching them you are watching them on their socials or vice versa. But my spirit fixed my mouth to say, no, you're talking to them. So you might be talking to them anyway, even though maybe you shouldn't be. Or the law says, nope, you can't talk to this person. Somebody might be stepping forward to say something to you, okay? I think there's a conversation that somebody wants to have with you. In spite of whatever barriers there are that are keeping the two of you from talking. Whether it's their own pride or whatever. It's a third party. It's due to a betrayal. You feel very betrayed by somebody. And so, yeah, this week I think you're going through a breakup. Or if you have gone through a breakup with someone, I feel like somebody feels like they chose wrong. You could possibly be attending a get-together coming up. Aries, a cross watcher, or somebody might be inviting you to maybe have go to a gathering or maybe a family function. Trust and believe me when I say somebody in your energy is lying to you. If we're talking about something legal, say you're in court with somebody, somebody's lying. They're not just lying, they're laying it on thick with the lies. If this is you in a relationship, whether it's romantic or platonic, even if this is a professional working relationship, it just seems like somebody is trying to conceal something. Or someone might feel like you have something to hide, Aries. There might be some fact to this. This might not just be fiction, because I was mentioning to you, you're worried about hypothetical situations. I think what you're having a hard time distinguishing between Aries and cross watcher is whether or not something is real or fake. Your intuition knows. Your intuition knows. So definitely follow your gut feeling. It looks like you might be going to a new city. Some of you might be moving to a new city. Or some of you might be, okay. Some of you might be setting up a business, maybe somewhere. Maybe some of you might be, yeah. Maybe you're setting up a business, a physical business. Or some of you are dealing with someone that you view as having an addiction. Or this is possibly you growing up in a family where somebody was addicted. Your reading is very similar to Pisces. Pisces is in your reading, by the way. Somebody doesn't want you to talk. Somebody's trying to shut you down. Or you feel like you can't say anything. It just seems like somebody's trying to silence you. I see somebody brainwashing someone. And I see somebody might be from like a rural town, or you might be passing through. You're traveling, okay? So I feel like you could be traveling through a place with animals. Maybe you might be seeing some livestock. I don't know. Maybe some of you are farmers. And I hear the jingle for farmers. Do you need some auto insurance? Do you need some insurance of some type? I see a graduation. Someone could possibly be graduating. There could be, I mentioned you could be attending a function. Maybe this is a graduation. Or somebody might be concerned about their grades and graduating. Somebody might have some unfinished assignments and maybe they're needing to turn in. It seems like, and this is not a criticism, but I see you overindulging in maybe a lot of sweets this week. So maybe some comfort foods. I don't know. Maybe that could be the addiction we're talking about. Somebody might be withdrawing from a class, possibly. What I do feel is that if there are some connections that you have with certain people and you don't feel like these connections are truly genuine, I see you kind of pulling away. If someone is having a legal situation, someone's in jail, someone could possibly be released from jail. Somebody could possibly be on probation or parole. Some of you could be attending a wedding. And I just see your financial situation improving. Some of you might be putting a lot of money into a house. Maybe you're doing some house renovations. You're doing some house decorating. Some of you could be having a housewarming party. I see you celebrating something. Some of you, it could be that you got the house, or your house, you were able to sell your house. Some of you are in real estate. So maybe you're coming across a very lucrative contract. But I see you being very serious and very focused about your work. Or if you haven't been, I feel like your focus you're able to regain your focus. I think you've been dealing with some procrastination. I feel like there's going to be some consequences for someone's actions, especially if we're talking about a legal situation. But this would also be in the form of karma. If there's been some sort of mistreatment, I feel like someone's going to reap what they've sown. This is a time of a lot of change, a lot of inner transformation. My mouth wanted to say transportation. Something's going on with your transportation and somebody else's. Either the lack thereof. Or it might be time to look into getting some new transportation. I think somebody's dealing with a breakup. I think somebody's taking a breakup really hard. Did I say there's a Sagittarius? I believe I did. Fire signs are dominating your reading. There's definitely something to do with a pet. You might be tending to a pet's needs this week. This week, as with any week, but especially this week, Aries or cross watcher, Spirit might be advising you to listen more than you speak. So if you're having a heart-to-heart conversation with someone, that's just food for thought. Maybe somebody wants you to listen. Not like truly actively listening. Not pretending like you're listening, but you're crafting your next response, your next rebuttal, but you're not really listening, like surface listening. Somebody wants you to listen to what they're really having to say, because it looks like whatever someone is saying to you, it means a lot to them, and they're coming from the heart. And it might be kind of difficult for someone to enter this vulnerable space or to entertain their vulnerability. It seems like somebody is very protective of their vulnerability. They don't like being in emotional situations. They don't like being in situations where they allow their emotions to kind of come to the surface, because it looks like somebody views getting hurt as a weakness, or that vulnerability, that putting themselves in a position for that chance of getting hurt. It just seems like that's difficult for somebody. Okay, so their vulnerability, they protect this at all costs. But it also feels like somebody might be entering that unsafe zone, that feeling of, like I said, vulnerability. And they want you to listen. They want you to truly hear them out. The advice, Holy Spirit, for the Aries nation, the birthday season. You're applying for something. Aries, try not to call you Pisces. You're applying for something. There might be a denial of something here. Or you might have to apply for something more than once, but there's a yes coming. The advice. That's right. The Aries nation. And any of this involve a Gemini? Does this involve a Gemini or an Aquarius? I didn't mention air. I was trying to say Aries, but I stopped at air. So yes, there is an air sign, Aquarius, Libra, Gemini. Yes. Okay. Your guides are telling you in the form of the advice. Aries are telling you, you already know the whole truth. You might be second guessing yourself. Your intuition is telling you something. You might be, I'm telling you, somebody's brainwashing you. So maybe you might be more inclined to listen to what somebody else is saying, but your intuition already knows. So this is, your guides are letting you know that you already know the truth. You're looking for the truth. You're searching for it. You already know. It's what your guides are telling you. You're going to be making a lot of professional connections here. I see some supporting, uplifting people around you in your professional journey. I think you're very creative. And I think that there might be a lot of, it seems like your imagination is soaring this week. You guys are saying, let that creative side of you come out. Maybe this is where you excel, or this is with work. Maybe this is something you aspire to do, something that explores your creativity, or there's an aspiration of yours that maybe you're afraid to approach. Your guides are telling you, no, manifest your dreams into reality. Because it seems like this is a part of your purpose. It seems like there's something that you're meant to do. So Spirit is saying, get into that. I think you might be very focused on numbers on scale. Random side note. I think your guides are talking to you about balance. I think you might be weighing some decisions in your life. You might be weighing what your emotions are telling you versus what your intellect is telling you. You might be finding a way to merge the two, or decide, okay, do I go with my head or do I go with my heart? Somebody with a flower name might be entering your life. or re-entering your life. Somebody's name could be Jasmine, Heather. Is there another? Chris, as in chrysanthemum. I don't know. Somebody's name could be Lily, Tulip. I don't know. Blossom. Something like this. With that, this concludes your 7-day forecast with Angelic Ascensions. Thank you, Aries Nation and Cross Watchers, for tuning in. Have a blessed, beautiful, productive birthday season. I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace out, Aries Nation. Aquarius Nation, this is a general reading. This means that not everything that is mentioned in this reading is going to be a direct match to what might be going on in your situation. Listen to this with an open mind. Avoid making any rash decisions based on a general. If you'd like to read based on your own personal energy, I do offer personal readings. The information can be found in the description and on my website, AngelicAscentionsTarot.com. Also, beginners tarot classes are monthly. They begin again next month. Master classes will begin in May. Okay. All details can be found in the description below when this video posts, as well as on my website. We're going to go over delicate topics, Aquarius, as we always do. So treat that as a trigger warning. Aquarius, you're burnt out. Emotionally, it just seems like you're burnt out too. If we're talking about a love relationship, I think you're over it. I think there's somebody that you're looking at is immature, impatient, and maybe somebody that has a lot of potential. But I think instead of focusing on somebody's potential, you're focusing on the reality of a situation. You're focusing on what it really is. And you're looking at whether or not what somebody truly has to offer to you rather than what they have the potential to offer you. So it feels like you've backed off. And somebody is seeing you as very detached. They feel like you're unemotional when it comes to them these days. Or maybe before it wasn't like that. But it's very clear that the vibe is, Aquarius, that you're not talking to them. Somebody could be making a lot of assumptions, could be casting a lot of blame in this situation, especially if there is a lack of communication or a miscommunication. I think you might be having a misunderstanding with someone. So there might be some messages that come through, and maybe somebody feels like you're not responding to them. So this could be where somebody's making an assumption about whether or not you're, like, why you're not responding. Maybe somebody doesn't know why. But I think the reason why is because somebody was offering you a whole bunch of illusions. And I think that now you see the truth of it. You're completely aware of some things that maybe somebody tried to sweep under the rug and deceive you about. You're not talking to this person, Aquarius or Cross Watcher, but it definitely feels like somebody is stalking your social media. It doesn't have to be that it's this person. It could definitely be someone other than them. But if we're talking about them, we're definitely stating some facts here that they are watching you. Or somebody is secretly obsessed with you, such as a Libra, Gemini, or Aquarius. You got somebody coming in with a lot of questions. Some of you, maybe this is a background check. Maybe this is a job interview. But I see somebody that wants a lot of information about you. So somebody could be directly asking you a whole bunch of questions, yeah, but these are not like regular questions. These are like somebody has a lot of audacity to ask you certain questions. So things that are obviously off limits. It's like somebody's testing your boundaries. Somebody could possibly be taking pictures of you, Aquarius or Cross Watcher, without your consent. So if somebody is spying on your socials, this could be somebody screenshotting you or whatever. You work on social media? Because that could be where somebody is just like looking for way too much information on you. Okay. This could be like internet spies. That sort of thing. People that are trying to figure out some information about you. I think things are going to be improving for you this week, Aquarius or Cross Watcher. I think something is causing your confidence to feel a little bit shattered. Or we could be talking about somebody that's in your energy. You have a lot of, you have a strong chemistry with someone. I mean, other than the situation at hand, I think normally there would be a lot of intense chemistry. A very strong bond with someone. It is very clear that there's some discord that you're dealing with. You're divided, okay? Your attention from somebody is just, okay, you're not getting along with them. So you're afraid of money, afraid of a financial situation. You might feel trapped because of a financial situation. Like you might feel like you have no way out. Pisces, Cancer, or Scorpio. Sagittarius just entered your reading. Somebody's had a change of heart in your reading, Aquarius. I think somebody might have kind of thrown in a towel, given up kind of easily in the situation. I think somebody might feel like a relationship with you is worth fighting for. This is you feeling that way about a connection with somebody who's in your energy. Somebody in your situation could be pregnant. They could be in their last trimester of pregnancy. Right timing comes in with something that you want. So if there's something you've been praying for, asking for, working for, it comes in for you. It looks like you're absolutely exhausted. This is Aquarius. You're feeling depressed about something, or somebody's feeling this way about you, especially if someone feels cut off from you, and they definitely do. So somebody feels kind of deserted by you, especially if there's been conflict. I see jealousy in the background of your situation, Aquarius or cross-watcher. I see a lot of competitiveness. I see somebody stirring up some controversy, and that's the whole thing about somebody being just belligerent about the questions that they're asking you. Being controversial. Or this is somebody trying to stir up a whole bunch of drama. Okay. For somebody, this could be a kid. Maybe they're being bullied. That's who somebody's questioning. Somebody could possibly be questioning a child. Especially if they feel like they can get more information out of a child that they can't get from you. Oh, you had some jaw pain, some tooth pain, Aquarius, or cross-watcher. Somebody could possibly be going to the dentist or complaining that maybe their jaw hurts or whatever. Some pain in the body. This looks like, there's a Taurus, this is Cancerian. If you haven't been feeling well, or somebody around you hasn't been feeling well, this looks like somebody could possibly be recovering from that. This could definitely be somebody that has an addiction. Maybe you wish somebody would go into recovery, would value themselves enough to go into recovery. You might feel attacked. You might feel outnumbered in your situation, especially at work. This might be somebody in the family feeling like the black sheep, feeling like they're the oddball. Talking about a relationship, it seems like there's no true give and take. Somebody is all about taking, but less about giving. A fire sign, Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius shows up to your reading. This is possibly somebody returning, or this is somebody wishing that you would return, or maybe you want somebody to return. Chances are, maybe it's not that. For some of you, maybe somebody returns on the scene, maybe after being hidden or not accessible in a while. If we're talking about social media, maybe you haven't seen somebody show up on your feed in a minute, and maybe all of a sudden they do. So if this is not you getting into conflict, I mentioned to you in the disclaimer, some of you, maybe you're witnessing certain things happening. Maybe they're not happening with you directly. So maybe there's something you're seeing on social media, somebody else's conflict. And maybe this is you kind of diving into the gossip, maybe wanting to know more information, this sort of thing. Looking things up, like I said, somebody's like internet detectives. I think you're concerned about debt. Maybe some bills are a bit past due, Aquarius. But as I mentioned to you, things are improving for you. just seems like there's certain things you might have to take action on to make this happen. You're being looked at and valued, Aquarius, across watcher, for your wisdom. Random side note, some of you, an owl could be relevant. You're very enlightened. You're someone who is well informed, or people are looking at you as someone who is informative. I think for a ton of you, Aquarius, as your healers, you're wounded emotionally, but I think you're dealing with that this week. Some emotional wounds. Whether you intended to or not, it seems like they're relevant. There's been conflict between you and someone. It seems like somebody is ready to, it will be posted, yes. Sunny sunshine for 11. It will be posted. If you had conflict with someone in the past, it seems like somebody is ready to lay that to her. They're ready to dead the conflict. They may not be ready to talk about it and resolve it, really. They might be feeling like it's better to sweep things under the rug because they don't want to be accountable for certain things that may have taken place. Because this person hasn't done a 180. The things that annoyed you about them previously, or you might still have your gripes about this person when it comes to those things. But as far as like being controversial or trying to stir up drama, it doesn't look like this person is coming to you with on that type of agenda. It looks like they're coming to you to truly try to resolve something. It looks like this person has been sitting in reflection about the situation. Maybe this has caused somebody to gain some clarity about the part that they played in the break. Maybe somebody has wanted to talk to you. Maybe it's the timing of things that have been off. Maybe somebody's playing phone tag with you. They're trying to communicate with you and you don't have time to communicate with them or whatever. Maybe schedules could be an issue here. I see an interview. So some of you, maybe you're doing some follow-up. Maybe this is a job interview for some of you. Yeah, it seems like you're under some strict deadlines, Aquarius. You might be worried about these deadlines, especially if we're talking about things being paid. If you're concerned about a debt, it looks like you're able to pay off a debt. If you're concerned about unemployment, maybe some of you are receiving unemployment benefits, or this is what this job interview is about. You interviewing for a job. Some of you might be thinking about resigning from your current situation. I definitely see you being approved for something, Aquarius or Crosswatcher. The issue this week might be your budget. It might be difficult for you to stick to a budget. Are you like, what the heck am I making a budget for? You know what I mean? Because it looks like a lot of money is going out at once. But this could definitely be for something else, okay? Like I was talking about debt being paid off. You're concerned about a legal situation. I feel like there's some good news. For some of you, there's some good news. Some of you. But it might entail you kind of having to pay something. Pay something out. This is Scorpio. It seems like there's a lot going on social media. This is a good thing. It seems like there's a lot of social media exposure. I think this is good exposure or good publicity. Spirit guides, show me more about this social media thing. Especially if you work on social media or you work with the mass media. Yep, bonuses. Financially, I feel like there's some money coming in. Or some information, some resources that maybe you needed that might put you in a positive light. I think if there's a particular goal that you have, I think you're going to be meeting this goal. I think that you're a trailblazer. I think that there might be a lot of copycats, people that are trying to emulate what it is that you're doing. But it seems like you're doing something, saying something, achieving something first. Or you're the first into something. You're the firstborn. I don't know. Your firstborn possibly might be relevant in some sort of way. Okay. Because I do see a lot here surrounding children that can be relevant. Children or a child. Maybe some of you are teachers. Maybe in the traditional sense. Some of you, as in like you're professors. Or some of you, maybe this is spirit saying you might want to check in with your kids. Are they doing okay with school? Because it does look like there might be a kid that might be struggling to feel affirmed or to feel important. They might be having some issues with peer pressure, or they might be having some issues with their own spiritual gifts. Okay, I'm gonna leave it there, and I'm gonna say, yeah, spiritual gifts. Your child could be gifted in other ways, or you could possibly be gifted in other ways. But somebody definitely has a spiritual gift, no doubt about it. Some of you, maybe there's a job that you want to quit, but maybe you kind of feel like you can't because of, like I said, you feel trapped financially. I guess so this is the week that you bounce back, and this is the week that you recover from whatever this is. There's some aggression around you. Like I did say, there's some competitiveness in the background, especially with regard to a fire sign in Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. There's a lot here surrounding finances, yes, but I'm trying to say family, especially a Virgo. Especially if you've lost communication with a family member or someone that you've created a family with. Yeah, there's a kid that really wants your attention, wants some love from you. Aquarius or cross-watcher, you're going to be making some serious decisions. Spirit is trying to call attention to where you might be thinking too small. Spirit is encouraging you to think bigger, reach big, reach wider. You know, with a goal that you have. There's a Libra for, like, no doubt a Libra, no doubt a Virgo. It's going to be Libra, Virgo cusp. Some of you are clinging to situations that have long reached their expiration date. So I think there's some decisive moments that are going to occur to you this week about certain things that maybe it's time to genuinely let go of. The advice, Holy Spirit, for the Aquarius nation for the next 7 days. How you go from being sick, Aquarius, to feeling sick again. This can happen. So maybe this somebody might not be feeling well. They recover, and then their symptoms return. Random side note, somebody might drive a Honda. I'm hearing Honda Civic. I don't know. Somebody have a Civic in their situation? Or somebody's name rhyme with Honda. I don't know. I'm hearing Jane Fonda. Somebody's name Jane. Spirit guides. Advice. You're facing some uncertainty. And you're not lost. You might feel lost. The spirit guides are saying you're not. You already know the answer. The answer lies within yourself. You don't have to necessarily go outside of yourself to search for the answers to things in your life that feel obscure. Just saying, look within. This is a week, as in with any week, but especially this week where you're forgiving yourself, you're forgiving other people. You might be looking back. I mentioned to you, somebody is spending a lot of time in reflection. You could be looking back and realizing maybe the situations were mishandled. You could have handled the situation better. Or maybe you were embarrassed about how you handled the situation, or vice versa. You're forgiving yourself. This is you seeing that people are human and everybody makes mistakes. I think that with this reflection, this is why somebody feels the need to mend things. So this could definitely be you. Somebody wants to mend a connection with you. Your guys want you to defend yourself. They want you to protect yourself, especially spiritually. It just seems like somebody is constantly on the prowl, constantly on the attack. But notice how that wasn't really highlighted in this reading this week. It's still background energy. Your guides are telling you, guard your energy, though. Guard your boundaries. Because, again, it feels like somebody is here being an energy vamp. They're trying to come in to find the insidious way to come in to attack. But this would especially be the case online. You've been going through some hardships, Aquarius. I promise you, somebody's trying to silence you. Somebody is. I hear it. Reality check. So I think somebody might be having a reality check about a situation this week. You've been going through some hardships, yeah? I think that you guys want you to confront these hardships with courage and balance. They want you to stay determined. They want you to keep your confidence intact. And they want you to be ready They want you to have some readiness here, because it definitely feels like there's some obstacles that you're facing, but you're overcoming these obstacles, especially this week. You guys are guiding you to go with the flow, and they're definitely saying your heart is closed off, possibly Aquarius or cross-watcher emotionally. You might be closed off because you've gone through a lot lately. Either this is the case or this is how somebody's looking at you, just closed off. Maybe even a bit heartless. Doesn't mean that it's the truth. This could just be somebody's perspective of you. With that, Aquarius Nation and Cross Watchers, this concludes. We're going to have their opinions about you, Aquarius. I don't think you care. And I think that's the point. I think spirit guys are saying people are going to have their opinions. Does that really have to affect you at the end of the day? People are going to make up stuff about you, think whatever they want to think about you, assume whatever they want to assume, and think that they're right about it. Does that really have to affect your day to day? I'm talking to Aquarius, so I highly doubt that that's the case, but it might bother you for a minute. It might cross your mind. With that, Aquarius Nation and Cross Watcher, this concludes your 7-day forecast. Thank you, Aquarius Nation, for tuning in. Have a blessed, beautiful, productive week. I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace out, Aqua Nation. Capricorn Nation. General reading, Capricorn. Not everything mentioned here is going to apply directly to something that's going on in your situation. I invite you to listen with an open mind. Please avoid making any rash decisions based on a general reading. If you'd like a read based on your own personal energy, I do offer personals. My website happens to be AngelicAscensions.com. Also, tarot classes open up again. They are available monthly. They will begin roughly around mid-April, as well as the intermediate classes. They both begin next month. Check out my website for details. Once again, AngelicAscensionsTarot.com. We're going to discuss delicate topics as we always do. Capricorn, let's dive in. Let's see what's playing out for you over the next 7 days. What I was telling you is that somebody talks a good game. Somebody's a wordsmith. They say things that are very convincing. But when it comes to proving their word, just standing on the things that they promised you, it seems like somebody has fallen short. I think you've shed a lot of tears having to do with a past relationship. Random side note, you might be seeing a lot of repeating numbers. There's a Gemini that entered your reading. You got a very watchful person that's entering your reading. I want to call them a spy. I'm going to just say that. I think that's what this person is. Somebody could be spying on camera. Somebody could possibly be capturing something on camera. Somebody could be videotaping you. Perhaps some of you work on a TV show, television network. Maybe there's some content that you're producing. I think that there's something that you're working on that could definitely be a success. I feel like when it comes to your professional life, there's success there. No doubt. When it comes to your love life, it feels like that's when things are kind of a bit complicated. I think somebody else could have interfered in your relationship, meddled in your relationship. But what I'm really trying to say, and I really think this is a third party. I think a third party could have entered your situation, or it's just an active part that an ongoing situation, a repetitive situation, a repetitive cycle that you're having with someone around this period of time. I think you got some gossip. I think some people are talking to you. Okay, so there could be some communication coming in to you. Somebody could be leaving you a message, reaching out to you, communicating with you, getting back to you, following up with you. But people could be talking about you. This doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing. But, you know, when there's talking and communication and this sort of thing, it seems like Spirit is trying to say people want to know the tea about you. People want to know what's up with you. Or this is you maybe diving into the gossip, trying to figure out some things. You could definitely be amongst the gossipers. If it's not that somebody's gossiping about you. I think some of you are obviously dealing with an Aries, because this already looks very similar to the Aries Nation's reading. Some of you could be dealing with an Aries Sun, Moon, or Rising. or Venus. There's a lot of grief about you. Somebody's having a lot of sorrow about you. Somebody's pretty sad. Somebody's feeling like they're like all is lost in a situation. Especially if we're talking about a soulmate connection here. Somebody feels like they've absolutely lost you. Especially when they left, when things got tense or things got difficult between the two of you. I think somebody feels the need to let go. But I think that that's a big challenge for someone because it looks like somebody really wants to hold on to you. At work, it seems like people are looking at you like you're ruthless, like you're just really cutthroat. Or maybe they feel like you're rude, okay? So some people might have some gripes about your work performance or your how you perform at work, I guess. We're going to talk about that in a minute because I definitely see a lot here connected to your job. But if we're talking about a love relationship, a Pisces shows up. I think somebody has a lot of remorse. And you might be surprised that somebody has some remorse about the way that they acted. It might come as a surprise to you. Maybe it's news to you. Especially if you've had conflict with someone. Somebody has mistreated you, talked about you like a dog or whatever. You're looking for accountability from. I don't think you're actively looking for accountability, but you're like, if I talk to this person, they need to come correct. There needs to be accountability. If this is the type of thing that maybe you're searching for, hoping for, you might not get full accountability. It feels like somebody talks out of the side of their neck. They say one thing and they do another one. Or they smile in your face but talk about you behind your back. It just seems like Spirit is trying to warn you about somebody. Maybe you have your suspicions about somebody. Capricorn, a cross watcher, chances are you're right about them. Somebody might have felt like they left a situation prematurely, like they jumped out of a situation too fast. Maybe you might feel like somebody didn't really give a thorough try to a relationship. Maybe one of you did and the other one is looking at them like they're like you could have done more. You could have stepped up more. Or this is a parent-child relationship. This could be parental guilt. A parent that's looking back and realizing maybe they could have done more or they should have done more. I think somebody might be in need of financial assistance this week, Capricorn, Nation, or Crosswatch. Or somebody could possibly be reaching out to you for a loan. You could be loaning somebody money, or maybe possibly you're applying for a loan that you might get approved. Trying to figure out if somebody coming to you for the right reasons. Before we answer that question, Spirit answered the other question. Yeah, you're receiving some money. Either, like I said, you're loaning out money. You might be receiving it back. Somebody could possibly be repaying you. You're repaying a loan. You could be repaying a loan. Something about repayment feels like it's important here. But yeah, any debt that you have, it feels like you're able to pay something off, or you're making some progress with paying something off. Maybe you're feeling a little bit impatient about something. Maybe it's about this financial situation and working out a situation that you feel is kind of out of your hands and you're feeling a bit stuck. So Aquarius was interrupted and had a blue screen for a while. Its battery died. So I had to recharge and now I'm back. So that's what that was. I think you might be having a lot of creative ideas. You're coming across as very innovative. Some of you have Aquarius in your chart. I think you're somebody with a lot of influence, or you could be connected to someone who is. I think when it comes to something with court, or this is a spiritual battle, I definitely feel like you're winning. You're on a winning streak. Or if you haven't been, it feels like things are beginning to improve for you. Even if it feels like it's not obvious to you yet, you know, judging by your circumstances, you looking at your circumstances, you're like, I don't see any improvement yet. Just because you don't see it yet doesn't mean that it isn't being worked on by your guides. It seems like there have been a lot of obstacles, some energetic blockages. This is being lifted. And now it feels like you can take action and you can be completely bold and confident about what it is that you're doing. Well, maybe because of delays or because of obvious obstacles that you might have felt like people were putting in your place, as if like it seems like you built it up in your mind that these people have more power over you than you do over your circumstances. It's like you feel small and feeble and feel like other people have the power in this situation. But spirit guides are saying, no, you have some power and authority too, Capricorn. They're telling you utilize that in these situations, especially where you've been bullied and thrown around spiritually. And that's my way of saying, yeah, you've been spiritually attacked. Some of these obstacles, for some of you, not all of you, are being spiritually attacked. Again, don't take everything that I'm saying and run with it. Not all messages are for you directly. Some of them are for you, and maybe some for somebody else, or you're witnessing somebody going through something such as this. You got somebody immature in your energy. Chances are this might be a child, but then again, chances are it's not. It might be a full-grown adult acting like a child, and maybe that's not necessarily a bad thing. Maybe this is spirit saying, maybe you've been adulting for a long time, Capricorn, and they're saying now it's time to maybe enjoy your life. Do some childish things like go to the park, get on the swings, watch cartoons, laugh, enjoy the lighter side of life. It could be what that is. If this is a child, chances are they're acting their age, but maybe a little bit annoyed by the fact that they're being childish. That's what children do. They act their age. This is an adult. You wish they would at least act your child's age. Like, wow, can you at least act like a 5-year-old? You're acting like a 2-year-old right now. This sort of thing. Okay, so somebody's coming across this way. I think some of you you're breaking up. That's the reality of it. And if it's not that you're going through a relationship, like a romantic breakup with someone, maybe you're separating from a friend. Or you're realizing that, relationships, they run their course. There's some impermanence to relationships. So I think that if there has been a relationship that's been deteriorating, you're seeing the truth of it. Maybe you've been trying to hold on for the longest. Maybe it's been difficult for you to adjust your mind to the fact that it's time to let something go, because you obviously love somebody and you're really trying to hold on to them. You're very attached, but this attachment might be a bit unhealthy, maybe a bit codependent. So this week it feels like you're choosing wisely, or this is what your guides are telling you. It just seems like there's a fork in the road. It's time for you to go a different direction, somebody else to go their way. You go your way, they go theirs. But it seems like it's up to you to kind of make that choice. This could even be about your purpose and about maybe what you really want to do with your life. Your guides are telling you, even though maybe you don't see what's unfolding in your life, it's going to be necessary for you to trust the process. Every little step that you're taking in this process is taking you to who you are meant to be or where you're meant to be. So they're telling you there's a method to the madness that's going on in your situation. Emotionally, you got some wounds. So this week, you're going to be sitting with those wounds. Even if you don't know the solution, okay, to how to fix these emotional wounds, it just seems like you're hurting. And that requires you to kind of feel that pain and work through it. It doesn't mean that you're overdoing it. It doesn't mean you're throwing a pity party. But it does feel like you're feeling your emotions, and you might have a tearful moment or a moment where you feel like you just need to break down. As Spirit guides are saying, it's okay. It's not the end of the world. Don't panic, Capricorn. If you need to cry, maybe you're not feeling well, or this is you focused on your own well-being, or you could possibly be doing a well-being check of somebody else, welfare check. Maybe it's just somebody's good, right? Because it does feel like somebody might be spiraling, and maybe they don't reach out. It's not the type of person that reaches out, but you might be noticing some red flags when it comes to someone's mental health. Capricorn. Receiving some money. It seems like payday is coming up, or you are able to, you're getting paid before this week is up, or this upcoming week. And maybe, like we talked about, there's some debt that you're paying off. This might give you some relief. Okay, I did tell you things are improving, things are turning around for you financially. You're very creative. Some of you, I see a pregnancy. Some of you may be finding out about a pregnancy. There could be news of pregnancy around you. Some of you might be concerned about your academic achievement, or you're concerned about this regarding a child. So you could be hovering over a child when it comes to their education. Or this could be you getting in touch with a child's teacher, whatever, or spending time with a child. Because it does feel like there's a child that has either special needs, but maybe needing your attention. And you might be deciding to give them this attention or hear them out with regard to whatever maybe they're going through. Or hearing someone's plight. It seems like somebody's going through something. They may need a shoulder to cry on. There's a lot going on with animals. Some of you, maybe you work with animals, or you're just very fond of animals. So maybe you're spending some time with a pet, or there's a pet giving you some emotional support. With work, I was mentioning to you, we're going to talk about that. Yeah, work seems very competitive, but that doesn't seem like that's not something like it's like you're used to that. You thrive in that type of environment at this point because you're so used to it. There's some issues here with somebody on the job, though. Maybe you might be consulting HR about something. There could definitely be some misconduct at work. There could be somebody that might be, kind of like dating at work. But if they're dating you, they're dating some other people. See, some of you are moving. Some of you could possibly be packing. Maybe this is some of you deciding to leave the company. Maybe some of you might be thinking about retiring or quitting. Resigning is the word that I'm looking for. Somebody is an artist, by the way. Maybe somebody is a recording artist. I see somebody BSing around at work. Maybe your heart isn't really in it at work this week. Capricorn. It just seems like you're there for the money. It definitely feels like maybe you're trying to catch up with the financials. Like stay ahead of a financial situation. You might be posting a lot, or maybe you're on social media, maybe viewing someone's posts. You might be seeing your mom, talking to your mother, or some of you, maybe you're having conflict with your mom. Random side note, you might be eating beef and broccoli this week. Ooh, who is moving? Somebody's moving back in. Somebody moved out. Somebody might be talking to you about moving back in. Some of you, it's your mom. Maybe you're a parent. Your parents are moving back in. Maybe you're moving in with your parents. Maybe you're moving in with your baby's mama, your baby dad. Something like this. Somebody's moving back. You could be moving back to your hometown. Possibly. Ooh, random side note. Some of you are concerned about student loans. What's deleted? Something is deleted. Deleting somebody's number. Deleting somebody out of your thoughts. So you could be traveling overseas. Definitely a lot of deception and lies pertaining to work, or these are people that are trolling you at work, lying about you, making jokes about you. It's like you're the butt of somebody's joke, Capricorn. Cross watcher. Here we go. Random side note, you might be seeing caution tape. You might be doing something difficult. You might be doing something difficult. Yes, I'm just trying to say you might be doing something different with your makeup routine. You're doing something difficult. Yeah, financially. It might be your bills. It seems like you're going to be struggling to kind of keep your head above water when it comes to your living situation, your finances. I don't know. I guess. So Virgo, that shows up to your reading. Not a shocker. Virgo usually shows up to your reading, Capricorn. Yeah. You put some money away, you might be accessing that money, accessing those funds for something. Maybe it's to go shopping. Because it looks like you might be doing some online shopping this week, Capricorn. Oh, what are we talking about? We already talked about the job. There's a lot of competition here. Some people could be competing for your position. Or just period. There's just a lot of cattiness. I think you work with the public. So maybe you might feel like you need a break from, like, your social batteries just seems like it's just on its last leg. Maybe that's something, maybe that has more to do with your phone. Maybe you might need to take your charger. Maybe your battery is dying. I think it's definitely when it comes to socializing or being around people. I think you're an empath, and I think you might kind of need some time away from peopling. Maybe all peopled out. You usually have this much anxiety. I think it's about your circumstance. I think it's about things that you don't see yet. Things that haven't played out in your life. Things that you're worried about. You're worried about how something is going to work out for you, or if it's going to work out. I just think that you have your doubts about the way that the fact that something is going to work out. The thing is, it is. Like I was mentioning to you, you may not see that yet. But Capricorn, it is. And if this has something to do with a move, maybe this is why Spirit is being so adamant about it. Maybe you're concerned about moving. This is your Spirit guide saying, Capricorn, you're going to move. If that's the issue, there's a helping hand coming and help is arriving. This help is spent. You are emotionally spent. And maybe there is some money that you needed and it's been spent. You know, it's past tense now. You're not spending this money. It's already spent. I think you're concerned about that. We talked about debt. But back to what we were talking about. Spirit is sending somebody in your life. Either they're bringing you a kind word, some advice, giving you some resources. Now, this is somebody doing a generous act for you. This is Spirit working in your favor when it comes to something. So there's definitely some good news. You've been enduring something for a minute, and now it feels like things begin to take shape. Again, I was mentioning to you, there's an improvement to your situation. Where you're confused about something, you're seeing no signs of progress, and all of a sudden, out of the blue, your situation begins to shift. You go from no hope to things just suddenly falling into place. You're like, how in the world did that happen? Or how in the world was I able to pull that off? Spirit did it for you. You have a lot of divine favor, as usual, and as always, but especially this week. Something miraculous happens. She said, can you ask questions? I'm not really doing the question answer session here, but I will afterwards. After the all signs is over, yes, you can. I'll be doing a paid live. If you have any questions that you want me to answer, if you would like me to do a reading for you, yeah, I'll be doing them after this. Capricorn, let's look at the advice for you for the next 7 days. I did mention there's a Taurus. And there's Gemini. And there's a Leo. Sun, Moon, or Rising. Either you're on a TV show, feel like your life is a TV show. I know that sounds so random. You feel like you're part of a social experiment. I don't know. Random, I know. Spirit guides the advice for the Capricorn Nation. Losing my voice again. Maybe you do feel like you lost your voice. Maybe you feel drowned out. Maybe there's somebody you're speaking to, and maybe you feel like your voice or your opinion, your thoughts don't matter. Because somebody's going to overtalk a Capricorn. I guess that's possible. Not everybody is the same. Can't throw everybody into a box or a category. It's just, that's hard to believe that somebody would be trying to bulldoze a Capricorn. Like I said, it could happen. Professionally, you're going to be making some connections here. Right? I just feel like you're very focused on your professional journey, and I think you're going to be making a lot of strides when it comes to that. Get used to being in the unknown, okay? Where you don't know what's going to happen from day to day, or you're just walking on eggshells, not knowing how a situation is going to work out. They're saying embrace that. As uncomfortable as it may seem, it's a part of your journey. It's a part of the lesson right now. Your guides are telling you spend some quiet moments. This is where clarity arrives, where you feel like you don't have clarity or you don't have a clue about how to make something happen or how to get from point A to point B. Spirit comes in with a flood of information. So have your mind clear and be ready. Just know that divine timing is stepping in and Spirit is doing a lot of talking to you. They're talking to you a lot through dreams, or a lot of things that you're, signs and symbols that you're seeing, and you're trying to interpret these signs and symbols. They have a meaning. They're not just idle pieces of information. They mean something. And Spirit is encouraging you to look deeper. You're definitely dealing with somebody that's born in the winter for some of you. So we're talking about Sag, Capricorn, cusp. We're talking about Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces. And maybe early March for Aries. As we're leaving, we haven't, no, spring equinox has already hit. So yeah, spring is here. It's your time. If things didn't work out, or you've been waiting for something, it wasn't time. The winter time wasn't time. Now it is. Springtime is here, and now it's time for some success to come in. Something that you... I'm trying to keep this PG, right? Okay, I guess I am. I'm going to just not say that then, because I don't know how to say that without being direct about it. Some of you sing. Oh, Some of you are gifted with singing. Or you write music. Or you write poetry. Something that you want begins to happen. You got some achievements coming in for you. I think there's a Libra in your life, and I think that there's a commitment that's coming in, maybe not at this moment, but maybe a little bit later. And then I also feel like there's some things that you're releasing. You're releasing a relationship, no doubt, but I feel like your guides are telling you they want you to release your burdens. The things that have been holding you back, some things that have been emotionally heavy for you, they're saying release it. Somebody likes what you do. I promise you, I'm trying to keep it PG rated. Somebody does, and they want a repeat of that. Capricorn. Is this Capricorn? This is Capricorn. That Capricorn Nation, this concludes your 7-day forecast with Angelic Ascensions. Have a blessed, beautiful, productive week. I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace out, Capricorn Nation. Here is going to be a direct match to something that's going on. Listen to this with an open mind. There's going to be certain things that you might disregard, and then there might be some things that may end up happening later. They may not happen immediately. Some of these things can even happen a year or two down the line. Still your message, still your reading. But please avoid making any rash decisions based on what you hear from a general. If you like a reading based on your own personal energy, I do offer personal readings. And you can purchase those on my site, which happens to be AngelicAscentionsTarot.com. What I'm also offering are beginner and intermediate tarot reading classes. If you'd like for me to teach you tarot, take a look at my website for more details, or the description of this video once it's posted. Let's dive in. Let's see what's going on for the Sagittarius Nation. Of course, we're going to talk about delicate topics, Sag. Delicate topics, we always do. And I'm going to stumble over my words. It is Mercury retrograde. Yeah. Sagittarius. Something about a relationship is complicated. Or this is how somebody is viewing a situation with you, or how you're viewing it. Complicated. Whether it's your relationship romantically with someone, or your relation, I think that's pretty much what we're talking about, very likely. But this could be any other relationship dynamic. Maybe it's your relationship with your parent, your sibling, whatever. Something is complicated. Maybe your relationship with your job. Could even be your personal relationship with yourself. It's complicated right now. I think maybe you're having a difficult time making some choices. I think you're having a difficult time even maybe holding on to optimism about your situation. Because it does look like your circumstances are coming along. It just seems like something is coming along slowly. You're having to wait for something, or this is your spirit guide saying, you know, Sagittarius, you might have to wait for something. What you don't quite see, Sagittarius, is that success is coming in for you. You might be deciding the best thing for you to do as far as relationships are concerned is to maybe fly solo for a minute. Maybe you feel like it's best for you to be alone. And this is, but you're also realizing that that's not a bad thing, that there's a gift in being solo, not being a part of a duo right now. Because it seems like if this is a relationship, you're walking on eggshells. There's somebody, you're looking at their conduct. It looks like there's somebody you wish would act right. Or to be more responsible. The progress that you're looking for. Like I said, it's a slow and steady climb, but you're making some progress with something. You might hit a few obstacles. It doesn't mean that you're not going to get to your end goal, because you will. But like I said, you might have to wait. Something might be at a little bit of a standstill. You're having conflict with somebody because this is how somebody is seeing you. Either somebody feels like you're somebody that stirs up conflict or controversy, or they're viewing you this way. Vice versa. Maybe chances are this doesn't have anything to do with your situation. You might be witnessing this or overhearing it, or somebody might be venting to you about their situation, their drama. I do feel like there's a choice that you need to make. So for some of you, maybe you're making a choice between someone versus another, or somebody's making this decision about you. Okay. Or you're waiting for somebody else to make a decision. Maybe it doesn't have anything to do with relationships, but maybe you're waiting for a final decision on something. It could be with the courts, it could be with work, it could be with whatever. Financially, things begin to change in a better way. I think you're going to have some ups and downs with your finances. I think it's just been that way this year. I think there's been times when you've had a stellar month when it comes to your funds. And maybe this week, maybe things are a little bit, they've run a bit dry. I think things are going to pick up for you, though. Especially this week, I feel like there's a lot of recognition coming in for you. People are really taking notice of your work, or whatever it is that you do professionally. You got a lot to bring to the table. You might underestimate your gifts. So I think that there might be some praise coming to you, or some awards, some accolades that are coming your way. And this might give you some encouragement to keep going and to keep building on what you've already worked on. Sagittarius comes up, but there's a Sag Capricorn, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. Oh, I said it that way. It's because I'm so distracted. I'm hearing so many different messages and looking at the cards, but spirit guides are talking to me at the same time. So forgive me if some of the things that I'm saying don't quite make sense. Bear with me. I'm going to try to make it make sense. You're blocking somebody. Somebody's trying to block something for you that you're meant to have. They're going to try. They can't achieve this. Nobody can block what's meant for you. I don't care how hard they try. Spirit is saying no. So something that means a lot to you, something you've been waiting for, ends up coming through. Yeah, you have some jealousy in your situation. Somebody's jealous, or somebody feels threatened by you. There's an Aquarius, there's Taurus. It's a fire sign. We're reading for Sagittarius. That might be you, Sag. This might be you in the reading. But there's also another fire sign, there's a Leo. Spirit guys, what's going on with Sag for the next 7 days? There's a few people in your life that you don't like. Maybe a few people at work that you don't like. Okay, you're definitely making some strides when it comes to work. Something is going to require you to be patient. Yeah, you're going to be noticing a lot of signs. Okay, Spirit. Okay. Since I was telling you, something is unfolding in your situation very slowly. Spirit notices that maybe you're becoming just emotionally exhausted waiting for something. So this is Spirit throwing signs in your way. Or something may dawn on you. Somebody might have an epiphany. Somebody's name could possibly be Dawn or Epiphany. Yeah, if you were not going in the right direction this week, it feels like spirit guides point you in the right direction. Literally, in the form of making a choice, or this is spirit putting someone in your life to help you to make the right direction, to go in the right direction, or to make the right choices. Maybe you're not sure where to look. If this is you job searching, home searching, maybe you're not sure what city to look in or what to do or how to go about something. Things begin to shift. Things have been delayed. Maybe you've been rejected, and now this week you're hearing a yes with regard to something that you've been waiting for. Maybe something is worth the wait, but maybe you don't see that immediately. But this is spirit giving you the assurance that things are going to come together, but it's going to require you to have patience. So that's what's being tested this week. That's the lesson this week. And maybe that's the thing that's complicated. It's patience. When you're feeling absolutely impatient, or you feel like, oh my God, I've been waiting for so long. Haven't I waited enough? To the point that maybe you feel like the universe is punishing you. And it's not that. It had everything to do with divine timing. And it had everything to do with your readiness. Even though you were eager and you wanted something to happen, again, if it wasn't the right time, or things haven't been strategically aligned yet, this is why you had to wait. Financial challenges are here. Spirit is helping you to realign things. You might feel like your abundance. I was mentioning to you things financially. Maybe you might feel like business is booming or your finances are flourishing. And all of a sudden, things just kind of stop. You said hello from India. You're in India? I'm in Cali too. Hello, AngelicAscensions from India. It's a small world. What was I talking about? I was talking about your finances. You might feel like you've been putting forth so much effort to try to improve a financial situation, and you feel like you're spinning your wheels and getting absolutely nowhere. Again, patience. Patience, Sag. Especially if this is you building a business. And maybe that's what you have the aspiration to do. It might just take a little bit of time to get things to the point that you want to get it to. Careful about change, because it definitely feels like spirit wants you to change, or this is spirit guides giving a wake-up call to somebody. And we talked about signs. So if something didn't seem obvious to someone, I mentioned to you something is going to dawn on you or dawn on somebody else, then maybe it's time to make a change. This feels like this has everything to do with your schedule. It could be your sleep schedule, but this feels like this has everything to do with your day-to-day time management thing. Where maybe you feel like you can't quite get things underway when it comes to time management. Time is money this week. Sagittarius. Keep that in mind. I'm going to lay the pressure on thicker than it is. It just seems like that pressure is already there. A lot of financial pressure, a lot of deadlines. So your guides are telling you to handle this with a sound mind. Did somebody pass away? It definitely feels like you're grieving the passing of someone. It's a Sag. Maybe you're planning a funeral. Maybe it's the anniversary of someone's passing. It could be that maybe somebody doesn't have the funds to see to it that somebody gets laid to rest. I'm not sure. I feel like there's some traveling that could be coming up for you. And I feel like there's some cycles the spirit guides are saying may need to end. It just seems like there's something that someone does not want to end, but it might feel like it seems like it's time for something to end. Or this is maybe somebody is passing away, and maybe it's like hard for somebody to accept that and to let go. I don't know. Sagittarius. It seems like somebody did pass. It seems like this is past tense, whether it's a pet, this is a beloved in your life. Maybe going to the laundry, random side note, maybe you're going to do some laundry then. You were waiting for someone to get in touch with you. It feels like they are. I mentioned to you, there is a yes. So someone could possibly be getting back to you about a yes. An affirmative answer to something comes in. Maybe you've been researching something, taking notes, jotting down information. There's a yes. Or this is you getting in contact with someone, following up with them, and maybe telling them a yes about something I was mentioning to you. Someone is having to make a choice, and it seems like somebody may have chosen you. Or this is you, again, job search, shop hunting, house searching. And maybe you find the right place that you are meant to have or be at. Yeah, I mentioned to you there's a lot of traveling. I think there's something that you're winning. Like there's a lot of achievement here. I think there's definitely a change to your physical environment, your location. Of course, if you're traveling, that would be the case. And I think your money is about to get a boost. Okay, that's what I see. The advice, Holy Spirit, for the Sag Nation for the next 7 days. There's a pregnancy here. Sagittarius, or there's news of pregnancy. I did mention that somebody may have passed. I don't know if this is somebody who lost the baby, or somebody is deciding that maybe this isn't the right time to bring a child into this world. So someone could possibly be thinking about making a choice when it comes to that. The advice, Holy Spirit, for the Sag Nation. Yes. The advice has everything to do with patterns. There's a loop that you're living and you're reliving it again and again and again. Spirit has been, this isn't a criticism with me saying the Spirit has been trying to get your attention about this cycle or these cycles in your life, whatever is not working. They've been calling you out of this loop. It could be a love situation I could be talking about, or this is some generational stuff, generational pain, generational trauma. Your guys are telling you awareness is the key. So you might be noticing this loop. You might be noticing where this is, that it's time to break this chain in your life. Spirit is making you aware. Knowledge is power. Now it's up to you with what you're going to do with this information. Are you going to use it to break out of these vicious cycles? It's your choice. Spirit says, yeah, that's where they want you. They've been talking to you about this all along. This is the sign. This is why maybe that relationship happened. Maybe it's for you to recognize what the wounds are, so that you can rewrite your story and you have the ability to begin again. Chances are this is someone coming in for a second chance. Maybe they want to begin again, romantic or platonic in your life. Or this is you. Maybe you want to begin again with someone. Maybe you're recognizing where a relationship went wrong. Somebody's name is Jonathan, by the way. You're recognizing where a relationship went wrong. And maybe you feel the need to, again, go back and repair it and make amends, especially a parent-child relationship. In the form of the advice this week, I'm so tempted to call you Capricorn. Again, it leads me to believe that some of you are Sag Capricorn cusp. What are you doing with Capricorn? Capricorn placements. You guys are saying there's no need to worry, as everything is working out beautifully. Some of you could be concerned about becoming single parents. Maybe this is something that's new to you. Your guides say, give your worries, excuse me, give your cares and worries to us angels. Allow us to take your burdens. Surrender whatever this is that you're worried about. Your guides are telling you, they're assuring you it's going to be okay. It's already taken care of, or you'll be taken care of. Your needs are going to be supplied to you in your situation. You know, they're assuring you of this. They're letting you know in the form of the advice that somebody is going to be backtracking. Somebody's coming back. Somebody's spinning the block on you to communicate. And maybe this is a good thing for some of you. Especially if there's been a miscommunication. Or this is you maybe wanting to develop a stronger bond with someone. Or this is you maybe repeating back what you think you hear someone say. It's Mercury retrograde. Let me remind you. So there could be breakdowns in miscommunication. There could be things could be misconstrued, or someone is telling you something, giving you information. You think that you know what they're saying, but maybe not. So maybe it's good to maybe repeat back what you think you hear someone is saying, just to make sure that you're on the same page. That, Sag Nation, this concludes your 7-day forecast with Angelic Ascensions. Thank you so much, Sag Nation, for tuning in. Have a blessed, beautiful, productive week. I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace out, Sag. For Scorpio Nation, this is a general reading. We're going to talk about delicate topics, Scorpio. If you're interested in getting a personal reading, my website happens to be AngelicAscensionsTarot.com. I'm also offering beginner and intermediate classes. They begin mid-April. Visit the description when this video posts for the details, or you can visit my website, which happens to be AngelicAscensionsTarot.com. Again, we're going to talk about delicate topics. Let's dive in. Let's see what's playing out for you, Scorpio, over the next 7 days. There was something that I saw in the cards that I wanted to tell you, and then it slipped my mind. What I do want to tell you is you might be noticing a lot of spider webs. Spider webs, cobwebs, whatever. Spiders feel like they're relevant in your situation. I hear bananas. Maybe somebody is backers. Maybe somebody is bananas. This seems like the color yellow is relevant in your situation. Somebody's name is Sunshine. Reading for Scorpio. Spirit guys, show me Scorpio for the next 7 days. Goodness, there's a lot of change coming in for you, Scorpio. You might be seeing a lot of butterflies. Or maybe posa, no. Maybe a lot of butterflies in your stomach. You seem to be stressed out. Maybe that's where you hold a lot of your stress, is in your stomach. Your solar plexus. You're really in your mind. You're very mental. Scorpio is the current sign. You're very, just a lot of mental pacing, a lot of reflection. You're asking yourself a lot of questions. It seems like it has something to do with a particular situation. You're perplexed by something. You're trying to find out a solution, and your guides are telling you the truth is really simple in this situation. It's more simple than it appears. So if you don't know the right way, even if we're talking about you traveling and you're like, okay, I don't know how to get there, but you've been to this place before. You might have a deja vu moment. Random side note. You're going to possibly be recalling the way, or something is very intuitive for you. Like you're able to figure something out intuitively. But if you feel lost, it feels like your guides are saying you're going to find the way, or your spirit guides are telling you you're going to find the right way to go about something or to do something, if that makes sense. Family is going to be a central focus to you. Maybe there's family that you haven't seen in a while. There could be a desire to strengthen some family bonds that may have been broken, that have fallen by the wayside. Maybe you have a strained relationship with someone. And maybe that's what you're thinking about the most, is how can you get a breakthrough with this person? Or how can you fix or mend a complicated bond with somebody? Yeah, I think you are at a standstill with someone. I think trust has been broken. in a particular relationship that you have with somebody. And I think you're questioning whether or not somebody actually did love you. Do they ever really care? I think you've been hoping for something for a long time. And I think the truth is now seen clearly about something. There's a water sign in your midst, Pisces, Cancer, or Scorpio. Maybe you're going back and forth with an air sign. Maybe this has something to do with work. There's Gemini, specifically for air, fire. It would be Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Sometimes there's a lot going on financially for you. It seems like you're trying to figure out a financial situation. I think that you do want to reconcile, and chances are you probably will go back to somebody, or somebody may go back to you after maybe there has been a standstill, or there has been a situation where you're like, I don't know how to fix this situation. Because it looks like somebody feels crushed. Yep, you're not talking to somebody. For some of you, maybe you decided that you're not talking to somebody at work. There's a water sign, as I mentioned. There's also an earth sign towards Virgo or Capricorn. I think there's somebody that you don't trust. And I think you have every reason to not trust somebody. Somebody's giving you a track record, okay, of not being able to trust them. You might possibly be open-minded and give somebody a chance again. You might go out on a limb and maybe decide to see what this person is talking about. You might decide to give them a chance again. Chances are that you see someone coming to you, especially as we talked about, a fire sign. Aries, Leo, Sag. Somebody's manipulated you before, or somebody's looking at you as manipulative. Aquarius and Capricorn have joined the scene. There's a Leo. And here you are, Scorpio. Okay? So there's a few people in your life that maybe you want to build bridges with after things have been broken. There might even be an apology, Scorpio. And this apology might even be sincere. It might be. So maybe there's a chance for things to be repaired. Maybe there's a chance for you to coexist without arguing with somebody. You might have your difference of opinion, but maybe you might feel like, okay, for the sake of maybe a child, let's put our differences aside and attend this family function, or whatever the case. It seems like your angels are talking to somebody's conscience. Not that they ever stopped. It just seems like somebody would rather, it's easier for somebody to kind of ignore their conscience in favor of their pride. It's difficult for them to cast their pride aside. And maybe even still, like, they may not really budge with this pride too much, but maybe enough to give you an apology. And it seems like it might stop there. The pride might, kind of come back. I think this is your spouse for some of you. Or you could be dealing with someone who is married. If somebody is married, they got a side situation. If somebody's not married on paper, you get what I'm trying to say. Somebody is in a committed situation, or something that resembles commitment. It's supposed to be committed anyway. I think one of you might be committed. And I think the other one of you has 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Maybe fully out, because it's like they're already dealing with somebody else. Somebody is very hopeful that maybe a situation can come together still, in spite of maybe there been a third party, or you just had a lot of problems and tension and arguments in the past. Somebody is hoping that you can overcome that. But I think the issue right now is that there's some frustration, or there's a lot that's on somebody's mind right now about this, about maybe some things that have happened. I think somebody is still hurt because of that. Somebody's leaving a situation feeling betrayed. Fire signs are still in the show, okay? Aries, Leo, Sag, water sign, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, as well as a Libra. And here's this earth sign, who I feel might be a Virgo, but that could easily be a Taurus or a Capricorn. Leo, that's a Virgo. I see Leo, and anytime I see Leo, Virgo's usually there. I mean, it always happens. It never fails. So I think that's a Virgo for a majority of you. Anything else, Holy Spirit, for the Scorpio Nation? Some of you are very spiritual, or you're connected to someone who is. Somebody feels trapped. Somebody might feel trapped in a relationship. They feel trapped in a marriage that maybe they don't want to be in. They feel trapped in maybe a lease that maybe they don't want. A house that they... Somebody's house is haunted, by the way. And I think if somebody's house is haunted, it doesn't come as a surprise to you. You'd already know that. Spirit guides, what is the advice for the... There's an open... I'm saying there's an open portal, but... Yeah, everybody has portals in their house. Everybody has TVs in their house or whatever. Phone, cell phone, laptop. It's a spiritual portal open in your house. I think that's you. I think you are the spiritual portal. I think some of you are very spiritual. I think you, your third eye is wide open. I think some of you might read tarot. I think some of you could be psychics. I think some of you might be pissed off at somebody. Chances are, though, somebody is triggered. And not to say that just because you're triggered, you should react. I'm not saying that you should or you shouldn't. It's just an observation in the reading. What I am saying, I think I lost my thought. I set it up and everything, and then ended up losing my thought. Spirit guys, what am I trying to say? I don't know. I don't know, maybe you have a moment like that where you're talking and then you get distracted, you get sidelined by maybe something else that you see. It seems like there's just a lot of downloads that you're getting, Scorpio or Crosswatcher, all at once. And maybe it might be so hard to keep up with all this information. The spirit is that you're channeling all at once. Did I say some of you are psychics? Yes, that's what I was talking about. I don't know. Again, a lot of messages coming in this week. Like you're bombarded with a lot of spiritual information. But this isn't a good way. But to the point that maybe it's kind of difficult to kind of keep up with all this information. The spirit is like, it's because it's coming in so fast. All right. The advice is where we're going with this. Spirit guys, what is the advice for the Scorpio Nation? Something's not coming together. Like there's a plan that you have and it seems like it's not coming together. It seems that way, okay? It seems that way, but it's not. Trust and faith. That's what's being tested. Not a pass or fail, but it's just circumstances are playing out in such a way where you're not sure what might happen. So yeah, it's going to cause you to rely more on your faith and less on what you're seeing in front of your very eyes. Less on what your circumstances look like, but digging into your faith in times where you're just facing some uncertainty. Some of you are moving. If I didn't mention that, I know that I didn't. So you could be getting into a contract. Some of you are on a weight loss journey. It seems like you're very fixated on numbers. Your advice, you guys want you to stay authentic. They want you to stay true to yourself. They want you to stay open. They want you to trust. They want you to tap into your inner wisdom. You could definitely be getting guidance. Or this is your spirit guides putting certain people in your path that are meant to give you this guidance. This could be a trusted friend. It seems like there's someone that spirit puts into your path to help you along with something. To help you, to give you some help along the way. To give you some clarity. Or to give you some sort of, to put some sort of blessing in your hand. I think that there is a blessing that's coming in. I think it's there already. But again, it may not be evident to you. Things are going to begin to flow a lot better in your life. This is your guys saying embrace these blessings. Embrace it. Be open to it. So if this is spirit putting somebody in your life to bring you a blessing, they're saying let them bring you the blessing. Be open to receiving. Not every step has to be huge. You don't have to run to keep up with the pace. Your guides are saying the smaller step, the better, as long as you're making strides forward. They want you to celebrate even the small things in life. Even if the biggest blessing or it's not the big breakthrough, as long as you see things beginning to work and you're seeing, circumstances, that the strongholds, the blockages in your situation begin to crack. When you see light at the end of the tunnel, they're saying celebrate that. This is a good thing. Acknowledge it. Legally, yeah, you might have some issues there. Okay. Yeah. We'll probably go into that another time, but I do see some legal issues that maybe you're working through and that are going to be kind of heavy on your mind. You might be receiving a message about that, or some feedback, some information might be coming in about court or a legal matter. Legal matter might be moving along a bit slowly. All right, I guess Spirit wants me to talk about the legal matter. I thought the reading was over, but no, Spirit is saying that somebody might be sabotaging you or might be trying to sabotage you when it comes to a legal situation. There might be an obstacle to crack when it comes to that. And this might be somebody close to you. We're having conversations about you, Scorpio. Don't pay any mind to that, okay? It's going on in the background. It just seems like Spirit wants you to know that, yeah, that's happening. But I don't think they want you to be overly focused on what other people have to say about you. With that, Scorpio Nation across Watcher, this concludes your 7-day forecast with Angelic Ascensions. Have a beautiful, blessed, productive week, Scorpio Nation. I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace out. Libra Nation, this is a general reading. This means that not everything that is mentioned in this reading is going to be a direct fact to what might be going on in your situation. This is an open mind. Please avoid making any rash decisions based on a general reading. If you like to read based on your own personal energy, I do offer personal readings. The information can be found on my website, AngelicAscensionsTarot.com. For those of you who are interested in beginning or intermediate tarot classes, those do begin next month. They are available monthly, and the information is on my website. Let's dive in. We're going to talk about delicate topics. Libra, what's going on here? Let's see. This is between you and a water sign, it looks like. Maybe this is a family member. Maybe this is somebody you're married to, committed to, or you had a breakup with. It just looks like you're frustrated with somebody. And this is Spirit guides telling you. You might have some situations. You might have some situations, Libra, where maybe it's difficult for you to keep your composure. There could be somebody making a lot of assumptions about you, or this could be you making a lot of assumptions about a situation. This could further complicate an already complicated situation. Thing is, I think that there's someone that you're deliberately not speaking to, and this person could possibly be a Capricorn. You might be blocking somebody. Yeah, I just think that you're not talking. Maybe there's a conversation about finances that maybe you might need to discuss with someone. You might have that talk. I think so. Speaking of finances, it seems like your funds have been on a freeze. They've been stuck. Or there's delays when it comes to your money. Maybe there's some insensitive people in your situation. I think things have gotten kind of tense for you financially over somebody, if it's not you, somebody that's in your energy. I think, somebody's struggling with something. If they're not struggling financially, it seems like somebody's struggling to get over the past. Either it's like your past with this person, and this is why maybe you're not talking to them and you haven't spoken to them for a while, is because of past history with this person. Or this is you. You've been backstabbed by somebody so many times that it's just kind of difficult for you to just act like it never existed. Might be kind of hard for you to forgive someone. And if it's not about the forgiveness thing, it's about letting something go that has been very painful for you. So I think this is why you block somebody. I think you're over it. I think you're tired of the drama with someone, Libra or cross-watcher, especially if this drama pertains to a third-party situation. I think somebody may have constantly put you in a third party to the point that now you cut them off, you blocked them, you deleted their number, including the numbers of their yes men. So it looks like somebody might be, you know, kind of siding with them about maybe some frivolous, heartless things that maybe somebody did in the situation. This does say conversation. So I think that your name is being brought up in conversation, possibly by some people that they know. And I think, again, they're yes men, they're yes women, they're co-signing some things that were done that were absolutely foul. Empowering this person at this time. Somebody might be a part of the military, or they could be a veteran. Yeah. I think somebody is going through a divorce. So maybe somebody is getting out of a situation, Libra, a cross-watcher, and maybe since they're free, maybe they want to come back to you. I think the person that may want to come back to you is single. Or could be single pretty soon. I think somebody has a deep addiction when it comes to drinking. And I think that you're having a difficult time forgetting about somebody, letting somebody out of your mind. Somebody still thinks about you, Libra. On a daily basis, pretty much. This seems like this has something to do with a mother figure. Maybe this is your mom. Maybe you haven't spoken to your mom in a minute. Maybe your mom is thinking about you. Whether your mother has passed away, your mother is here amongst the living. Maybe you're thinking about her. Maybe she has a message for you from the afterlife. Random. Something's going on with the visibility of your windshield, so you definitely want to be mindful of that, especially around this period of time. I don't know if you're loading up on some windshield wiper fluid, and if you're getting some windshield wipers, there might be a crack in your windshield. I'm not sure what this is. It seems like you're driving at night, and maybe it's kind of hard for you to see. High visibility is what I'm hearing. Maybe there's a hazard in the road. Somebody drinking and driving is what this is. Hey, Christina. That's what this feels like. It definitely feels like somebody's walking on eggshells. You're walking somewhere. Maybe your shoes are uncomfortable, Libra. Okay. The advice. Do we talk about everything? Hold on. I feel like I'm rushing your reading, and I don't want to do that. I feel like we talk about everything. You might be frustrated with somebody at work. So there might be somebody at work that you're not talking to. There might be somebody that you feel like has it out for you at work. Or it's just somebody that you can't stand. You don't like someone in particular. So maybe you feel stuck in a job that you really don't want to be at. You might feel stuck because you got bills. So you might continue to remain in a job that just your heart is just not really in it. Or there's just somebody at work that you can't stand. Trust to believe the feeling is mutual. Libra, they don't like you either. You don't like them, they don't like you. And that's what this conversation is about. Somebody might be venting about you. Maybe it's on the job. So you got somebody instigating about you, or you being watched at work is what this looks like. And it's not so creepy if we're talking about you working on social media, or you're in the media, you're in the limelight, this sort of thing. That would make sense that somebody would be watching you. But it would also make sense if there's somebody that's doing some funny business when it comes to relationships, your partner is watching you. If this is somebody accusing you of doing something at work, trust and believe. You're being watched. There's some news that's coming in. Libra, you might be getting some bad news, some not so good news, okay? Or maybe there's somebody that has something difficult to share with you. Maybe they could be venting about something that they hear about, or some sort of news that they received. I think maybe you want to check in with somebody. Maybe there's somebody where you want to see where you stand with someone. And I think somebody might be thinking about doing this again after a long time of not speaking. It might be difficult for somebody to maybe figure out how to approach this situation. Somebody might have their doubts and their fears about maybe checking in with you, talking to you about some things, because maybe the situation appears to be a bit awkward. Or there might be a situation that you're dealing with that you haven't dealt with before. So the inexperience of the situation might have you feeling pretty uncomfortable. Especially if we're talking about vulnerability. It seems like somebody has difficulty maybe expressing their feelings, or being emotionally vulnerable in extremely emotional situations, or emotionally charged situations, or situations where they may have to be honest and take accountability, where maybe somebody didn't really handle a situation in the best way, and maybe they're feeling a bit embarrassed about their choices in the past. Whatever this is, it seems like you got that going on in the background. Yep, somebody feels like somebody's full of drama. They're like, nope, I ain't got time for it today. So this might be why somebody's deciding, nope, they're not going to partake in the drama, or they're expecting that this is what having a conversation with you comes with, drama, or vice versa. The advice, Holy Spirit. For the zodiac sign of Libra, the same exact, what sign there just before I went for Scorpio. So you're obviously dealing with a Scorpio, or you are Libra Scorpio cusp. But I'm also seeing Earth sign Libra. Who's after you? You got Virgo in front of you. So some of you are Virgo Libra. Give your cares and worries to us, angels, and allow us to take your burdens. Yep, you got a lot of things that you're worried about. Your guides say, give it to us. Let us handle it, say your guides. We got it. We're going to take care of it for you. We're going to see you through certain situations safely and soundly. I think some of you are concerned about your kids. Maybe you might be putting your kid into counseling. Eat a healthful diet, get adequate sleep, and exercise regularly for optimal health. It feels like your guides are talking to you about your health. Maybe you're more focused on your health, more conscientious of your health around this period of time. Somebody may have passed away from a health situation, so you could possibly be having a health scare. With that, Libra Nation and Cross Watchers, this concludes your 7-day forecast with Angelic Ascensions. Thank you so very much, Libra Nation and Cross Watchers, for tuning in. Have a blessed, beautiful, productive week. I'll see y'all in the next one. Virgo, this is a general reading. Not everything mentioned is going to be a direct match to what's going on in your situation. Listen to what is your message. Disregard the rest. Avoid making any rash decisions based on a general. If you like a personal reading based on your own personal energy, I do offer personals. My website is AngelicAscensionsTarot.com. We're going to go over delicate topics. Consider it a trigger warning. If you'd like to get in on the tarot classes, I do have beginner and intermediate classes that are beginning in the month of April. Visit my website for more details. Let's dive into this. Let's see what might be playing out for the Virgo nation for the next 7 days. I'm trying to see what's really going on here. Virgo. Got the 9 of Swords. Spirit guys, show me more. What's going on in Virgo's head this week? It's your relationships. Whether they're romantic or platonic. You're obviously dealing with a Libra. Libra is the star of your show in this situation. So you obviously must know a Libra. Or like I said before, you're a Libra Virgo, or you're dealing with a Scorpio. Libra Scorpio? Libra Scorpio, that's a cusp, yeah. What you're concerned about is creating harmony in a relationship. Restoring a relationship that's been damaged. It just seems like there's a lot on your mind. Maybe so there's some changes that you want to make. You're definitely shifting your mindset, or this is what Spirit is encouraging you to do. You might be feeling pretty emotional this week. Seems there's a lot on your mind, or a person that's on your mind. Because it looks like somebody might miss someone sexually, Virgo or cross-watcher. I think that maybe there's some situations here where your gut already knows. You're suspicious of someone. Somebody's moving kind of foul, kind of weird. And maybe something doesn't add up with something that they're saying and something that they're doing, okay? You're definitely feeling like something's up. But maybe you can't exactly detect what's going on. What's going on, let's make it real, is a third party. Either this is a past tense situation where somebody is getting in the way of you and this person being together. But I think what somebody wants is to reconcile. This could be a co-parenting situation, or for some of you, this is a parent-child relationship where there's things that have been fractured between a parent and a child. Or this is a co-parenting situation. It seems like somebody might have like financial responsibilities or share a child with someone. You're in their thoughts. I think somebody is hurting because they feel like they gave their all, or they really were truly genuine in this relationship, and they feel like somebody just completely toyed around with their feelings. Might have been dealing with somebody that had a lot of one-night stands, and this may have wondered again whether or not you really meant something to this person. Definitely some friction between parents. Co-parenting situation seems tense. For some of you are in a relationship this week. It definitely feels like a relationship is on the rocks, and somebody is thinking about walking away from this and starting fresh. Yeah, this is a love relationship we're talking about. It just seems like something is not working out. Somebody feels like the situation is complicated and they want out. Or if this already happened, somebody could possibly be reuniting with you, or you could possibly be reuniting with someone after there has been some tension. Somebody's thinking about you, but they're not doing anything about it this week. I'm trying to see, is there going to be communication? If there is communication, it will likely be from a Taurus or a Libra, or possibly take place between a Taurus and a Libra. A Virgo and an air sign, a Virgo and a Gemini. Okay. I see a reconciliation possibly between friends. Especially if things have been chaotic. There's been a breakdown in communication. There's still some hurt feelings here. There's a Cancerian that just popped into the reading. Yeah. It just seems like it's difficult for there to be forgiveness. Or you feel like somebody takes your forgiveness, like they take it for a joke. They take your kindness for weakness. So right now, it feels like you're prioritizing your peace of mind. So rather than maybe interacting with this person, it seems like somebody's deliberately deciding that they're going to back away and maybe focus on other priorities rather than this connection. I think that somebody still feels you. They still feel your energy. They still feel your vibe. You know, somebody constantly putting you down, over talking you, not listening to you. Somebody feels this way. Somebody is jealous, Virgo or cross watcher, that maybe you moved on, you got somebody else. I think if somebody can't have you again, I think somebody would at least like for there to be a truce. Like, can we have peace? And maybe the dynamic between you and this person has shifted, obviously. It seems like maybe you friend zoned somebody. Or maybe you're communicating with them for the kids. I think somebody secretly wants you to give this a chance again, especially if you were married to this person or you were with them once upon a time. But maybe you felt like you had to free yourself of this. Somebody still wants you. If you're traveling, there could possibly be some delays. Virgo, what does the spirit guides want you to know mostly this week is deception exists in your situation. This deception may end up causing a separation between you and a soulmate. Unless, again, as I mentioned to you, this is past news and it already happened. You do have somebody doing some magic, okay? Somebody put some bad juju on you. Virgo or cross watcher, chances are you're doing this to someone, or this is somebody doing this to ruin a relationship, to cause more deterioration. Somebody might want somebody that you're with, so they're trying to F with your relationship, tamper with your relationship to make it go downhill quicker so that they can have direct access to this person without them being distracted by a relationship partner. Something's going on with your ride, your transportation. So you might want to look into that. Some of you might be going to the mechanic. Spirit guys, anything else for the Virgo Nation? Random side note. So random. The movie Ice Age could be relevant. Maybe you haven't spoken to someone in ages. Yeah, that's what that looks like. There's some health issues in your situation. I think you might not have felt well for a minute. For some of you, maybe somebody's feeling under the weather. They're not feeling good, health-wise. I think somebody's going to bounce back. Somebody could possibly be making a recovery when it comes to their health situation. Or someone has gotten a bad prognosis about their health. I think somebody might be making a recovery where maybe they were told that they wouldn't or they couldn't. Anyway, somebody might start to feel better. Virgo. Holy Spirit, what is the advice for the Virgo Nation for the next 7 days? Control. What was the first sign I read for? Pisces, your opposite sign. Virgo, you came up heavily in Pisces reading. So, yeah, there's that. But I think that maybe you do want control over your situation. The spirit guides are saying, you know what? It's not that type of week. There's going to be some things that may play out in your situation where you might want to or wish that you had control over. But some things are going to happen when it's time. Not everything may go according to plan. So you guys are saying be flexible when it comes to that. Goodness, you've got a deceiver in your situation. It's like Spirit keeps saying it over and over again. Be mindful of deception. Somebody's trying to pull the wool over your eyes. Again, there's some holes in somebody's story. There's something that they're saying and it doesn't possibly make sense. And if you're in a situation like that, don't second guess yourself. Don't let somebody gaslight you. Deception. Somebody's doing that. They're pulling the wool over your eyes. So you guys are saying be careful of being gullible. Somebody is very convincing. Somebody could maybe convince the average person they're looking at a blue sky, but they're going to try to convince you that the sky is green. Again, a lot of lying, backstabbing about obvious stuff. So again, you guys are saying if you have your suspicions, you may not be being paranoid. You might be right that somebody is absolutely deceiving you, whether we're talking about a love relationship or we're talking about something else playing out in your life. With that, Virgo Nation and Cross Watchers, excuse me, this concludes your 7-day forecast with Angelic Ascensions. Thank you, Virgo Nation and Cross Watchers, for tuning in. Have a blessed, beautiful, productive week. I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace out, Virgo Nation. What was it before Virgo? Leo Nation, this is a general reading. Listen to this with an open mind. Please avoid making any rash decisions based on a general reading. If you'd like a read based on your own personal reading, Leo, you can of course book a reading on my website, which happens to be AngelicAscensionsTarot.com. Thank you, Christina, for the feedback. We're going to talk about delicate topics. Leo, take it as a trigger warning, and let's dive in. For those of you who are interested in tarot classes, a new session going on for both the beginner and the intermediate classes. Visit my website for more details. Leo, you're dealing with a legal situation. You're dealing with a legal situation. Or somebody around you is. You're dealing with a situation where Spirit is speaking to somebody's conscience. And it just seems like they're ignoring it. They're not being obedient to what their conscience is telling them. And what their conscience really wants to say is they might feel like your relationship needs work. They might recognize that maybe your relationship has been soured by some past situations, some hurt feelings, some betrayals. More than one. I think somebody's facing the truth about some things. Because it seems like somebody can't run from the truth. They may have tried, but the truth always catches up. So I think somebody is facing some hard, sobering facts about themselves. But I think this is where there's been conflict. Either some of you are having conflict with someone this week, you're having a power struggle with them, or they're having some conflict in their own lives, and it has nothing to do with you. Chances are there could be some inner conflict. I think that there is some hostility somewhere in your life, or some aggression, whether it's you bringing the hostility or the aggression or somebody else. This would especially be the case on the road. So be mindful of aggressive drivers. Or don't let this be you, Leo, the aggressive driver, okay? I'm not saying somebody's going to get in a car accident, or yeah, I am saying somebody might be. I'm not saying it's you. I'm saying you could be witnessing a car accident. You could be driving by and see the aggressive driver get their instant karma, especially if somebody's driving aggressively with you, or you know what I mean? You're going to see something play out. Karma is going to play out right in front of your eyes for someone. Chances are it could be you. You might be receiving your karma. Somebody might be so satisfied by it or whatever. Random side note. There's a fire sign. There's a Scorpio. Goodness. It's like there's a flood of information in your situation, Leo. You're thinking about a legal situation. You're thinking about your own struggles and battles. It seems like you're thinking about a financial situation, how to resolve that. And it looks like there's somebody that passed away that's on your mind. Some of you, somebody doesn't have a steady place to live. Somebody could be living from place to place. You definitely feel like somebody's living paycheck to paycheck. Is it Leo? You're an instigator in your situation. Somebody is saying some stuff, especially if we're talking about online. This could be where there's some bullying online. Spirit guides say, yeah, that's what's going on. Some of you, maybe it's not online, maybe it's at the playground, at school. Kids could be bullied. If we're not talking about kids, yeah, we're talking about full-grown adults, and this might feel like a playground type of situation. A lot of immaturity, a lot of back and forth here, Leo or cross-watcher. At least this is how somebody might be interpreting a situation from their perspective. Seems like you're waiting for something. You might feel like you're waiting in vain, especially if this has something to do with money. Or it's a legal situation to run its course. You're waiting for something to reach an end. Until then, it seems like you're worried. You're going to be getting a breakthrough. You're getting a victory when it comes to a legal situation, by the way, Leo. Yeah, you definitely have an opponent. Somebody's an op in your situation, and they're going to take every opportunity to show you that they're an op. Like I told you, somebody's getting their karma. You're so satisfied to see somebody's karma play out. So this is somebody playing with you, especially when it comes to magic, okay? Because Leo, let's talk about it. So it's definitely playing with magic. As soon as I say that, why does this say summon? Like somebody is summoning spirits. Not in all instances is this a bad thing. Not all instances is this baneful magic. For some of you, you could be summoning your angels to come on the scene to help you with a situation, to help you with your comeback. But like I said, karma's playing out for somebody. Somebody is so satisfied to see this karma play out. Where somebody thought that you were going to be, that they were plotting your downfall, Leo or Frostwatcher. And they end up falling in the same hole that they laid as a trap for you. Somebody still has romantic feelings for you, Leo. Even if they're dating somebody else. They might be dating somebody else to act like they're over you or that they're not thinking about you. Maybe chances are you might be meeting this person, your ex, with their new partner or whatever. Like I said, they're dating this person to make it seem like they've moved on and they're not thinking about you, but they really are. Somebody knows that you're their real soulmate. I think somebody could be a musician or somebody could be a poet. They write music, record music, this sort of thing. I think somebody would be with you. They want to, but it seems like trust has been broken. Too many lies, too many cheating episodes. No willingness to change. Maybe somebody might feel like somebody prioritizes their friends over the relationship. And random side note, Leo, somebody could possibly be videotaping you, snapping pictures of you, snapping footage of you without your consent. Or of a child without parental consent. Did I say somebody might not have a steady place to live? I think I did. I think some of you could be moving from place to... I said that already. You could be traveling. It seems like if you're traveling with a lot of bags. A lot of suitcases or whatever. So maybe you want to travel, but maybe there's something going on with your money right now. Your money might be a little bit tied up. Or it might be a little bit less than maybe you desired. I still think that whatever you have to financially keep afloat, you might be robbing Peter to pay Paul to stay afloat, but it looks like you're able to do it. Like you're able to maintain for the time being. Maybe until you get back to work. Or some of you, maybe you haven't left a job. It just seemed like something may have affected the productivity of work. Like maybe you couldn't work because you had to tend to somebody who was ill. Some of you work in healthcare, by the way. Or you had to tend to yourself because of your own health issues. I think you're very stressed. I think there's a situation that you want to leave behind. And I think that you will. I just think there's a ton of responsibilities on your shoulders. And a lot of things that maybe you're having to complete by a certain deadline. And maybe you feel like you're skating on the edge of some of these deadlines this week. There's a child that might really want your attention, Leo. Maybe they feel overlooked. They feel a bit invisible. Or they feel like maybe you have other priorities over them. So there may be a need to maybe clear something up. Because there could be a misinterpretation in somebody's response or a delayed response. So, for example, if you're texting someone, they text you and it takes you a minute to get back to them. They might be making a lot of assumptions or summing a lot of things up, jumping to conclusions in their head about what they think that means. But it may not actually be that. It could just be that maybe somebody was distracted or they just couldn't respond at the time. But I think if somebody did see your message and they didn't respond, I'm trying to say there could be delays. It is Mercury retrograde. But I'm also saying that somebody might be getting back to you this week after a delayed response. So again, be careful about jumping to conclusions prematurely about what something means when it could definitely be something else. It's not going to be the same information, the same case for everyone, but it feels like that's the situation for someone. Somebody's bad with money. I don't mean this as criticism. The context that I'm trying to frame this in is that somebody may view you this way, or this is how you're seeing yourself. You're realizing, yeah, you know what, maybe I can tighten up a little bit when it comes to my funds, that sort of thing. So maybe there might be some adjustments you might be making to your budget, your spending, to make things a bit less complicated, less unpredictable as far as stretching your paycheck or whatever. Legally, you're up against a challenge, because whoever this is that you're going up against legally, they're a beast. Okay, it's difficult to, I think this is how you're looking at a situation. It may not actually be that, okay, but that might be how you're viewing the situation, whatever this legal situation has to do with. Somebody could definitely be criticizing someone's parenting, or this is a child criticizing their parent for something, or vice versa. A parent criticizing a child mentally, but maybe not saying it, but to themselves. You might be making some plans about some things. Your guides are trying to invite you to look at places in your life where you're keeping yourself stuck, where your guides are trying to advance you and bless you, but because of certain things that maybe you refuse to change or break out of, it's keeping you in a holding pattern, and it's causing you to feel stuck and frustrated. But where are you stepping on your own toes, blocking yourself from forward movement, forward progression? Spirit is saying, look at that. Because again, they're trying to bless you and break you out of something, but something is keeping you still and stagnant. Is it you? Because it seems like it could be. Somebody is upset with your detachment style. They feel like you're detached, or this is your gripe with someone. They're just so unemotional. You're talking about emotional situations. They look disinterested. It seems like this is really disturbing somebody's peace of mind, that maybe somebody doesn't care, or that this is what they've come up to the conclusion with, that this is what they're summing up about a situation, is that somebody doesn't give a care. There's some progress. On a positive note, you got some progress that's coming in, some achievements, some things that you're working on. You're starting to see some things begin to roll in for you. This would even be the case with clarity, especially about an obstacle or how to overcome an obstacle in your life. Things begin to be a bit more crystal clear. Somebody that passed away is definitely around you. I'm hearing the word halo. So maybe somebody is a guardian angel to you. Maybe somebody's name is Angel. Or maybe this is you. The literal meaning of angel is God's divine messenger. Perhaps you are a messenger of some sort. Or this is Spirit sending a messenger in your path, passing on a very timely, much needed message when you're feeling absolutely discouraged about your situation. You might be going someplace rural, then someplace that's very scenic, like a lot of farm areas, a lot of green pastures, livestock, this sort of thing. Maybe somebody works near, I'm trying to say, I hear it again, we are farmers. Somebody is a farmer, or this is you needing insurance. Somebody might be coming up with a jingle. Do you sing? You write music? You write poetry. You might be hearing a catchy song or a catchy jingle that's just kind of like stuck in your head. This is Leo. Okay. Spirit guides. Anything else for the Leo Nation for the next 7 days? Well, the advice is what we're getting to. And this is about clearing your karma. We're talking about where in your life have you hurt people? There's been where in your life has there been some sort of mistreatment? You might feel the need to go and clear that with somebody. You might be making a deliberate choice to do so. Or this is someone coming back to clear their wrongs with you, the mistakes with you. Especially, again, this feels like this is more so parental guilt, a parent-child relationship where there's been a fracture. And somebody feels that something is fractured. Something has a broken bone. But yeah, fractured relationships. Or somebody might have a splinter. Random side note. Somebody feels the need to come and clear this up. Or this is you, and this is truly the right time to speak to this person. That might be your confirmation. That maybe it's time to be vulnerable and have a genuine conversation, a heart-to-heart conversation with somebody that you genuinely love. Thank you, Vanessa. Appreciate that. Okay. Spirit guides, the advice for the Leo Nation. It is 2:29 a.m. where I am. I thank y'all for being here with me. You are extra sensitive to energies and emotions right now. Honor yourself and your feelings. It might be an emotional week for you, especially looking back on situations, doing a lot of reflection. And you might be doing a lot of journaling. It just seems like this is a good thing. This gives you the ability to let go. Again, wherever you've kept yourself stuck, your guides are saying disarm your fears. It seems like it's your fears of the unknown, or whatever this is, wherever you're facing some fears. Your guides are saying this situation has kind of held you captive. And they're encouraging you to step within your power. And they're encouraging you to let go of control issues. If this is you being controlling of one, or even if this is just your circumstances. Your guys are saying this is limiting your freedom. Your guys are saying let's do it differently this week, Leo. They're saying go with the flow. Trust the flow. Trust time, divine timing. Your guides are also letting you know that children are being protected. You're concerned about your kids, their well-being. Maybe you're not around them, or whatever the case happens to be. Your guides are assuring you they're protected. With that, Leo Nation and Cross Watchers, this concludes your 7-day forecast with Angelic Ascensions. Thank you for watching. Have a blessed, beautiful, productive week. I'll see y'all in the next one. Cancer. This is a general reading. Not everything mentioned here is going to be a direct fact with what might be going on in your situation. Always listen with an open mind. Please avoid making any rash decisions based on a general. If you'd like a read based on your own personal energy, I do offer personal readings. You can book on my site, which happens to be AngelicAscensionsTarot.com. We're also going to go over delicate topics, as we usually do. Take that as a trigger warning. Tarot classes begin mid-month in April, as well as intermediate classes. Check out the description. Details on my website, which happen to be AngelicAscensions.com. Let's dive in. Let's see what's going on for you over the next 7 days, Cancer. Somebody walk with a cane, walk with a man. They have a unique, distinctive way of walking where you'd recognize them from a distance if it were them. What is really going on? It looks like you feel confused about which direction to go in life. Maybe you're going your separate ways from someone. It definitely feels like things are kind of snowballing. I think that might be with your finances. We're going to take a look at that though, because it seems like spirit guides are saying you can see the glass half full or you can see it half empty. It seems like the way that you're seeing the situation is going to set the tone for how the week goes. I think you're having an issue with someone that is disloyal, or someone is seeing you as in this light. Like you want honesty from somebody and somebody wants honesty from you. So if certain conversations are going down this week, your guides are saying that's going to be absolutely important. Honesty. Somebody's talking to you about something, they're asking you a question, is because they want your real genuine response. They want real true honesty and transparency in a situation that might be a bit shaky. Could definitely be rocky. Expect some communication probably from your child's father or your brother, family members. It just seems like there could be someone that could be coming through in your life that might be spending some time in the life of a child, or may want to talk to you about that. Water sign to water sign relationships exist. So this is you, a water sign with a water sign, another Pisces, Cancer, or Scorpio, Virgo, not a shocker. It shows up to your reading. Of course, if Virgo is present, so is Leo. Leo is always there. It never fails. Leo, if Virgo shows up, Leo's gonna be it's gonna be right there. Here's your Virgo, Taurus, or Capricorn. Definitely there's a lot going on with transportation. Maybe some of you are taking Ubers, you're getting a ride somewhere. Somebody might need a favor from you. Maybe they need you to take them somewhere or help them out in a situation where they're stranded. This might be another Leo or somebody with Leo placements. You're walking away from someone. What are you walking away from? Is it a job? You're walking away from a love relationship, possibly into something new. So you could possibly be falling in love with someone. Or someone might have a wake-up call about their love for you. Random side note, somebody might ride a motorcycle. You might be in a hilly area or in a valley, possibly. Some of you could be going to the beach or the beach and the ocean, the same thing. I'm not trying to say the beach or river, a body of water, okay? I see a lot of traveling. You could be taking public transit. Maybe you're taking the train. Picking somebody up from the airport. There's a King of Wands. Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Leo and Virgo are dominating your reading. Your Cancer, Leo, some of you. Cancer's dealing with Leos or Virgos. You got an on again, off again type of thing with somebody. I think you're sensing someone very strongly at this time. What you're definitely sensing is any sort of BS that's coming out of somebody's mouth. You're definitely detecting that. There's a lot going on social media. Maybe you're spending a lot of time scrolling these days. Or somebody's possibly coming across something that you have posted. I want to say you might be needing your umbrella. I don't know. This is summer. It's not summer. What am I talking about? You might somebody is born in the summer. That would be you, Cancer, when you're born in the summertime. I don't know why my brain thought it was summertime and we're obviously in springtime. So you might need your umbrella. I guess it does rain in the springtime. Somebody's name might end in Ella. As soon as I said that, I heard Coachella. I don't know. I guess Coachella is in the summer, isn't it? I don't remember when that is. Excuse me. And Aries shows up to your reading, by the way. Let's get into this. Random side note, you might be seeing a hot air balloon. There's a lot surrounding children in your reading. Some of you have an obstacle with your kids. You're fighting with your kids. Or you just don't have the best of relationships with your children anymore. Again, a lot of parent-child tension. Maybe you might be working through a relationship. Maybe that's what this is about. That's what's snowballing. It's a relationship. So it seems like you're not on great terms with somebody. There might be a lot of hurt feelings. There could definitely be some animosity between you and a friend. There's some traveling, so maybe you might be taking a road trip. I think somebody wants to reconcile with you. Especially an ex. And especially a friend. Now, when it comes to friendships, Cancer or cross-watcher, hear me clearly. I'm not saying that no one is trustworthy. Please don't take it to extremes. But I am saying that somebody in your energy might be a bit wicked. Might be doing some stuff to kind of mess you up. Or there's somebody in your energy that you view as very confusing. You're like, is this person a friend or an ally? I can't figure it out. It's that sort of thing. So if somebody in your energy is a bit questionable, you might want to take the time to really investigate those feelings and not just write them off as you being overly suspicious or paranoid, because I don't think that that's the case. I think there's some validity to these feelings. And I think this is your angels trying to protect you against somebody that is an absolute no. And this could be saying that be on the lookout for your intuitive nudges, because you don't want to put yourself in a situation where now things go from bad to worse because you trusted somebody that didn't have the best of intentions for you anyway. Chances are you're too intuitive for this Cancer or cross-watcher, and it may not be happening to you directly, but since I was telling you, there's a lot to do with children in your reading. So if this is not someone trying to persuade you, this could definitely be someone trying to maybe mislead a child. And you, the adult in this situation, may see this. And it doesn't mean that someone is necessarily misleading a child. They could be misleading anyone. And someone else may see what the other person doesn't, because maybe they're a bit too close to the situation, too emotionally attached situation to see the truth. Or they may be deceived into believing that maybe somebody does have their best interest, but they're really truly deceiving them. This sort of thing. Chances are this could have been you at once upon a time. Maybe you were tricked by someone. You were duped. And maybe now it has made you wiser. And you're able to detect BS earlier in the situation rather than later. I promise you, somebody doesn't want you to talk. Somebody wants to shut you down. Cancer or cross-watcher, or maybe you're tired of hearing somebody talk. Maybe somebody is like, well, just change the channel. Because I'm hearing, turn this TV off, turn this TV off. Who is that? It's Kendrick Lamar. Maybe you're very distracted. No, I did mention you're doing a lot of scrolling. And maybe this is a bit distracting for you. Maybe it's kind of getting in the way of time management and the flow of some other things in your, because it looks like something in your life isn't flowing right. We don't know what that is yet. Maybe I already called it. Maybe I didn't. So bear with me. But I think that has a lot to do with it. This social media thing, and maybe spending, again, not a criticism, it's an observation, spending a lot of time on social media as soon as I part the thing, that chaos. I'm trying to tell you, this is what someone is trying to cause. So this is possibly what that is. Somebody is trying to F up your situation. Please don't get paranoid and think or assume that I'm talking about you, because chances are I'm not talking about you directly. It's not a personal reading. It's a general. So that message is meant for someone, but not for all. I think if this is you having witchcraft done on you, you'd know. It would be completely obvious to you. Or by me saying it, it would dawn on you like, yeah, that's what's going on. I knew it. I knew it. The chances are, Cancer, you might be the one doing this to somebody. It's like you outshine someone, Cancer, a cross watcher, and somebody wants you to be invisible. Somebody doesn't want you to have that visibility. Let's say if you do something online, somebody's trying to shut you down. As I mentioned to you, somebody doesn't want you to speak. I think you're a truth teller. I think you tell it how it is. I think you might even be a whistleblower at work. And I think somebody's taking an issue with that. And somebody might see you as the enemy, and they might think that they're well within their spiritual rights to tread upon you. Like they're a serpent. So there's that. I think something is going on with you financially. And since we're talking about somebody attacking you financially, it seems like this is where they're targeting. They're targeting your money, your finances. So maybe you don't feel financially stable around this period of time. I think that situation is going to shift. When somebody from the past is constantly thinking about you, they may message you. You might be getting a lot of increased messages. So if this is work, let's look at that for a minute. What's going on with your work life? Seems like there could be an issue with a boss or somebody that's in a position of control at work. Some of you, maybe you are the boss at work, or maybe you are your own boss, or you have an aspiration to be. Something is going on with pregnancy. Some of you could be hearing news of pregnancy, or some of you, maybe you've given birth within the last 4 or 5 years. If you have a toddler is what I'm trying to say. But this is, like I said, a co-parenting situation. You sing, you play an instrument, you might be getting back into that. Yeah, your financial situation is where you're about to receive a breakthrough. This has something to do with you. Something that you're going to have to make a decision about and act upon this week. And whatever you're acting upon feels like it happens in a timely manner. We talked about deception. You got the 7 of Swords here. You see this red flag right behind this 10 of Swords. So spirit guides are telling you, you might be ignoring the red flags. They might be right in front of your face. Somebody is blatantly and obviously deceiving you, or deceiving other people about you, deceiving family members about you possibly, okay? Spirit guides, tell me more about this. There's a Pisces that just entered your reading. Does this matter? Let's see. Let's see if Spirit gives me more information about it. Yeah, they're saying somebody that you think is a friend is really an enemy. And once again, they're reaffirming somebody's doing work on you. I think you know that, as I mentioned to you. It's written in your body language, like you already know. But regardless of that, don't be intimidated by that. Sorry, I got distracted by my cats. You might be distracted by something. Maybe you do have pets. You've been going through something, okay? This looks like you've been going through something for a minute. Some of you might be worried about jail time. You might just kind of feel stuck in your situation and feel like there's nothing you can do about it. But again, this feels like there's some sort of breakthrough in your situation. There's some sort of progress, advancement. Things begin to accelerate. Things have been delayed. Now it feels like things are able to move forward. Okay, so I see you celebrating something. Look at this. Somebody's giving you the evil eye. Protection from the evil eye. So this feels like this is Spirit protecting you, where this is your guide saying protect your energy, because trust and believe me when I tell you, for some of you, somebody's constantly giving you the evil eye. You recognize it by the goofy expression on their face. But if we're talking about social media, chances are you probably never see this person in person, because they exist behind a keyboard. They're no threat to you. But this is somebody talking a big talk, okay? Maybe somebody might be spilling the fact that they're doing some work on you to try to intimidate you. Somebody, that's all they can do is talk. They can't produce results, okay? The results that they're trying to get in your life to cause this chaos. Maybe they were successful in the past. Things are changing. Tables, they turn. And so I feel like that's what's happening in this situation. And bad that somebody has been wishing upon you, it ends up happening in their situation. Yep. Sagittarius shows up to your reading. Spirit guides for the zodiac sign of Cancer. What is the advice for the next 7 days? Ooh. Spirit is saying it's time to step beyond your comfort zone. There's some things that you're going to have to face, Cancer or cross-watcher, that maybe you don't want to. Or there's some new situations you're going to be stepping into that maybe you didn't feel like you were ready for. You guys are saying get ready. You're ready to be flexible. You're ready for some things to change in your situation. Okay. You guys are talking to you about embracing your shadow. You got some people returning, especially a karmic relationship. This happens after you've had a chance to restore yourself. The parts of yourself that have been in a lot of emotional turmoil. It seems like Spirit is encouraging you to maybe think about being on your own, being solo. Because it looks like there's a lot of things to bounce back from and recover from that you've gone through, especially emotionally. Yeah, you're going to be uncomfortable. Like I said, that this new situation, or you're embracing situations that are uncomfortable for you, they're telling you that's how you grow. Sometimes, you never grow if you weren't challenged out of stagnation. Some things in your life, it's time for them to grow, to leave your life so that you can experience progress. And for some of you, what might need to leave your life is a person. Because it looks like there's a particular individual in your life that is stunting your growth, hindering your progress. And maybe it's time to consider parting ways. You can decide that, though. Hey, Miss Coleman. Have a beautiful, blessed, productive week, Cancer Nation. Thank you so very much for watching. I'll see y'all in the next one. Gemini Nation. Gemini. This is a general reading. Not everything mentioned here is going to be a direct fact to what's going on in your situation. Listen with an open mind. Please avoid making any rash decisions based on a general reading. If you'd like a read based on your own personal energy, I do offer personals. My website happens to be AngelicAscensions.com. We're always going to go over delicate topics. Gemini, consider it a trigger warning. And if you're interested in getting my tarot classes, beginner and intermediate classes, begin mid-April. If you'd like me to teach you tarot, visit my website for more details. The website happens to be AngelicAscensionsTarot.com. Let's get into this. Gemini, you're very concerned about the future. There's a lot of what ifs that are playing out in your head this week, especially if we're talking about delays and delayed opportunities. It looks like there's something that you're trying to achieve, but maybe the thing that you're trying to achieve isn't meant to happen now, it's meant to happen later. The thing is, maybe you don't know that. So I think what you're doing is looking at a situation, just having a lot of doubts that it'll ever happen for you. But sometimes delays might happen for your highest good. And regardless of the delays, it seems like Spirit is able to open up a door for you. And I think that that's what's getting ready to happen. I think Spirit wants you to have hope about your situation, no matter what it looks like. Because it looks as though you're feeling very discouraged about things. Even though your intuition may come in to tell you everything is going to be okay, you still might have your doubts. There's a Taurus that just showed up. Ooh, something needs to be said. So there might be something that you need to say to someone. Or this is, somebody has something to say to you, and maybe they're not being completely obvious with what they're saying. There might be a situation where you kind of have to read between the lines of what someone is saying because they're not being very direct. Hopefully that's not me at this moment. Hopefully I'm being clear about what I'm saying. Yep, you got some delays. You got a situation where you're healing from possibly a fire sign stabbing you in the back. It seems like it's not easy for you to get over that. So there might be some hurt feelings and some hurt memories, painful memories attached to something that happened. Let's see what this is. Oh, this is Gemini. Things were not going well. You were not happy with the way that things were going. In fact, I think that you started to wonder whether or not this person really cared about you. I think you've gone through some heartbreak. And I think that there's somebody that is thinking about you. Maybe you might see this person online, or perhaps you are. I think you're still hurting. I think that there's somebody that might want to talk. Might be a bit, I mean, what's their mood? What's their demeanor? They want to talk about something peaceful? Yeah. Yeah, I think so. It seems like this is a peaceful conversation or a peaceful topic, or at least they're wanting to make peace. The biggest question mark is whether or not you feel like that's possible at this time. Somebody's coming across as a bit abusive. Maybe somebody could be in an abusive relationship. And they could be abused financially, emotionally, psychologically, any form of abuse. I think something like that is going on. So somebody might be wondering whether or not they should rescue somebody from an abusive situation. I think someone's concerned about that. I think you are having drama with someone, or you have in the past. And I think Spirit wants you to be mindful of there being a brainwashing situation. Some social media could possibly have somebody brainwashed. The guys want you to slow down. Gemini, they want you to pay attention, especially when it comes to your surroundings. Let's see what they're talking about with that. Because I'm trying to say, why Spirit want you to... No, that's a normal thing, right? For you to pay attention to your surroundings. You're obviously distracted. The Spirit guides are telling you, reminding you of this. Or there might be a time when you're so distracted, and during that period of time, I'm trying to see if I can... They're saying there could be danger. So again, pay attention to your surroundings. Somebody might have bad intentions. Again, this isn't to say that something bad is going to happen, so please don't jump to conclusions or think that that's what I'm saying. I'm saying there could be danger around you, but this danger may not play out around you or somebody that you care about. Your intuition may tell you, don't do that, or don't go to that location. Take a different route, or don't be so predictable with your day-to-day activities. I'm not trying to cause paranoia, but at the same time, I gotta tell the story. So again, listen to this with an open mind. I feel like some of you are being watched. You're being stalked. Somebody, or, okay, I'm gonna break it down. Some of you, yeah, you're being stalked. Like, there's a creepy person watching you. Yes, especially on social media. Somebody's like digging a lot into you, or somebody wants to know way too much information about you, like parasocial relationships. It's like somebody sees you online, they feel a rapport with you, so they feel like they want to start digging into stuff to try to figure more out about you. Some of this is just somebody being nosy. Some, for others of you, somebody doesn't like you, so they're trying to dig up dirt about you. There's that. Then you got situations where, for some of you, somebody's just being real nosy, kind of like watching you out of the window. Or they hear some commotion, some loudness, and they're trying to figure out, what is that? So they're kind of leaning in to see what that is, who you are. You're an unfamiliar face to somebody. They've seen you enough times for you to still be unfamiliar, but they've seen you enough to recognize you. Okay? Because there's something about your routine that maybe you're not changing up. So spirit guides are saying, change it up a bit. Or if there's, again, a place that you're frequenting, or you're going to do something and your gut tells you, don't do that, don't second guess that feeling. It's there for a reason. Okay? Felt the need to explain that. You're going through a separation. There's a separation here that's unwanted. There's somebody that hasn't given up on the idea that maybe y'all can be something again. It seems like the issue is that you were unhappy with this relationship or with this particular person. So I think somebody might be going through a depression. It could be that they're depressed about the state of the relationship right now, the fact that it's non-existent, or the fact that things have kind of completely changed up. Some of you are psychic, or you're going to a psychic, or somebody's possibly going to get magic done. They might be paying someone to get some work done on you. Again, this is not everyone. Please don't take this message. Oh, I'm speaking to you directly. I may not be, but it's meant for someone. Like I said, I can't sugarcoat. I'm not somebody that's going to sugarcoat anyway. But I can't not tell the message, because some people might get paranoid at what they hear. That's something I'm not responsible for. I was telling you, please don't jinx or make any rash decisions based on a general. There's been some delays in your situation. Maybe you've been experiencing some bad luck. And like I said, for some of you, that's because somebody wants to keep you stuck. It's either through their actions, especially through addictions, okay? So maybe there is somebody that's stuck in an addiction, or this is somebody introducing an addiction to somebody. You block somebody, possibly a Leo, a Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn. I hear the word radio frequencies. I don't know what that is. Radio waves. Gamma rays is what I hear. Okay. I don't know. You're impatient about something. You guys are telling you you're going to have to wait for something. Something's going to require you to wait, Gemini or Crosswatch, or something's going to require you to surrender. Okay. So there's going to be some things that happen in your life. You're going to want answers. Your guides are telling you that these answers may not come through immediately. Even if we're not talking about you need answers from a person, we might be talking about your spirit for something. You're like, wow, like, God, where are you? Why are you so quiet in moments where I just need you? I need to know what's going to happen. I need some sort of guarantee or certainty. Spirit guides are saying the answers are coming, but they may not be as accessible or as immediate as you want them to be. But it doesn't mean that the clarity is not coming. So please don't get discouraged. There's going to be situations this week where you're feeling impatient about things. You're going to feel the need to rush through something without really truly thinking carefully. This is why Spirit is saying, hey, slow down, slow your pace. Listen, be still. Stay in faith, even in the face of uncertainty or where there's a pause. It doesn't mean that things won't pick up again. That's just your doubtful thinking. And when I'm saying that, I'm not criticizing you for having doubtful thinking. Again, it's an observation, not a criticism. I just want to make that clear. You got a victory coming in. It looks like somebody diminish you, diminish your accomplishments, talk bad about you, or whatever this happens to be, however this manifests in your life, if it even does, or even if this is already played out. You got somebody that's just being, I don't like to do the name calling, but they're being an idiot. And this might be somebody that's trying to go back and forth with you. Spirit is saying it's not really worth the time and energy to argue with someone. This is like a pointless back and forth argument. It's up to you how much energy you want to give it, but Spirit is saying give this no life. Give it no energy. Because this is just somebody like consuming your energy, being an energy vampire, looking for somebody to argue with because they're pissed off about their situation. Okay, there's going to be a reconciliation. There's been some time and space between you and someone since there's been a disagreement. This disagreement has caused you and someone distance. It looks like somebody might want to come to you again, see you again. This is Gemini. Yeah. It's your call. I think you've been going through a lot. I think you had a wall up. I think you have a wall up because it seems like you have tunnel vision. You're focused. There's something you really want. And it seems like there's no stopping you. Even though you might get a little bit discouraged, it seems like you get back up again and you get this drive to keep going. This is something beautiful about you, Gemini. You're very resilient. So a situation that you're dealing with right now, you're going to be looking back on this situation later on and realize, wow, you're strong, you're resilient. You have the ability to overcome crazy obstacles that maybe the average human couldn't withstand. I think some of you are traveling. I think something is going to test your limits. I think it's been your current situation. I think there's been a misunderstanding. That's where the wall is. So I think somebody wants to tear that wall down. And I think if this is you, honesty and patience are going to go a long way. Somebody wants that from you. And if they decide to have this conversation and entertain the fact that maybe you could possibly have a reconciliation, they're looking for that honesty and transparency. They're looking to see how genuine that is. So if this is something that really means a lot to you, something to take into consideration. You're obviously traveling. Either you're traveling or somebody around you is. Somebody could be traveling overseas. Maybe you're getting a passport, this sort of thing. It seems like something regarding paperwork this week is going to be absolutely important. So your ability to organize your paperwork, have it accessible at a moment's notice is going to be important, especially if we're talking about traveling like we were talking about, especially by vehicle. Is not, okay, listen to me carefully. I'm not saying that you're going to get pulled over. What I am saying is you might want to know, get your paperwork together as far as driving is concerned, your insurance, your license, whatever this is, your registration. You want to have everything organized. So again, at a moment's notice, if you need it, not necessarily for being pulled over, but for whatever reason you have that, okay? Your driving information is going to be very important. Your tax information is going to be very important. Anything dealing with financials is going to be very important this week. It might be very difficult to get over something that was very hurtful to you. Or if this is not, if something hurtful didn't necessarily happen to you, but somebody that you love, like maybe a child. It seems like you're hurting for that child's pain. Like you want to soothe that pain for somebody else that absolutely they weren't deserving of that. They did absolutely nothing to, you know, have what played out for them actually happen. Opportunities present themselves this week. Something very rare, something that's perfectly timed. A blessing comes in. Your spirit guides say, they're saying, step forward and claim this. Make it yours. Something's going to require some action on your part. Gemini or cross watcher. Okay. So even though there's some delays, there's still a yes here. Shh. Shh. Boy, hush. Hold on 1 second, please. Get more information. That's what I'm trying to say. Somebody's trying to get more information on you. Dig up dirt about you. For some of you, that's not everybody's message. Or this is you doing research for something. Something's going to require you to get more information. I'm not trying to tell you what to do, but be careful about oversharing on the internet. Somebody might be trying to, you know what I mean, get information, but not for good reasons. The advice, Holy Spirit, for them. I'm so tempted to call you Cancer. I know I'm ready for Gemini. So I keep hearing the zodiac sign of Cancer. Some of you are on Gemini, Cancer cusp. We're dealing with Gemini. You're doing, yeah, you are. You're dealing with another Gemini or a Cancer. Thank you so much. Is it Aaron or Aaron? 2888. Spirit guides, the advice. You're dealing with a Libra. Maybe going on a spiritual retreat. It could be traveling. Maybe something about this travel experience could be a very spiritual bonding moment with you and the Almighty. If you don't believe in God, disregard. I do see you focusing, but this is spirit guides are saying focus on what you want. They're telling you to make decisions from a clear mind, not from a scattered, panicked, you know what I mean, frenzied type of state of mind. They want you to clear your mind. They want you to calm down. It looks like Spirit wants you and somebody to be on the same page. So maybe some information exchange is going to be important there. They want you to take care of there's going to be some moments, some opportunities that come in for you to bounce back and have some breakthroughs. This is your spirit guide saying, look, recognize those opportunities, utilize them, seize the moment. You're going to be experiencing some moments also where you're making a lot of self-discovery. You're discovering a lot about yourself now that maybe somebody is out of the picture. Now you have time to focus on your relationship with yourself without there being so many distractions. You're realizing, you know, what in your life is working and what is not. What is it that you can disregard or discard out of your life possibly. And I think that, yeah, there's definitely going to be some stillness, a moment of pause, a moment of delay in your situation. You guys are saying that doesn't mean that blessings are not coming in. You're actually winning. You're on a winning streak, or this is something that's getting ready to take place that you may not see. And I say there's a lot going on within yourself. There's a lot of personal growth within. Spirit is putting some good people in your life. You could definitely, for some of you, getting ready for some sort of promotion. If this is not some sort of promotion with work, then this is definitely a spiritual promotion, an upgrade. You've graduated. You've made a lot of leaps and bounds with yourself. And now you're seeing things begin to play out in your life differently. You're seeing things begin to shift as you become a more healed version of yourself. Your life begins to shift and take shape. So I feel like that's what that promotion could be about. I think you're learning to laugh more. You've been doing a lot of adulting. You've been very serious to the point that maybe your mental health has struggled a bit. It just seems like now you're coming out of that. You're learning when to maybe take the bull by the horns and be proactive about things, and when to kind of step back and trust more, trust the flow of things. It seems like now you're able to kind of gauge this with your intuition a bit better. You're able to kind of be patient and understand that sometimes things are not quick. They're not as quickly as they don't happen as quickly as you want them to. Sometimes things are a slow climb. And spirit guides are saying, yeah, well done. You're recognizing things differently. You're reacting differently. Or now you're having the space to be able to do so. Again, there's a lot of growth within yourself. Gemini or cross watcher that spirit wants you to acknowledge about yourself. With that, Gemini Nation and cross watchers, this concludes your 7-day forecast with Angelic Ascensions. Have a blessed, beautiful, productive week. Peace out, Gemini Nation. Taurus. Taurus, this is a general reading. Not everything mentioned here is going to be a perfect match to what's going on in your situation. There's going to be some things to disregard, and there's some things the spirit wants you to take in. Some of these things may be a message intended for someone else. So again, listen to this with discernment and with an open mind, and understand that certain things in the reading may not be recognizable because they haven't had a chance to play out. Listen to this with an open mind. Please avoid making any rash decisions. If you'd like a personal, I do offer them. The details are on my website. What I'm also offering is beginner and intermediate tarot classes. They begin next month. The space is now open, or will be open by the time this video is reposted. So if you're interested in that, visit the description in this video for more details, or head over to AngelicAscensionsTarot.com. You know we're going to talk about delicate topics. When don't we? Consider it a trigger warning. Make sure that you're in the right state of mind to hear about triggering topics. Let's dive. Spirit says the number 11 is important for you. I don't know, maybe you're seeing a lot of repeating numbers. Maybe you're seeing 1111. Maybe there's something to do with an Aquarius in your situation. I believe my cat. He makes those sounds. The baby is actually asleep. So believe it or not, that's my cat. Yeah, there's something you're waiting for. You're feeling like it hasn't happened. You're like, have I failed? This sort of thing. It just seems like you're worried about something that you might feel that you can't control. But what you can control are your thoughts and your feelings, your words. This is where you find your power when you're going through some challenges or you're looking for clarity. They're saying if you can't control your circumstances, control your response to things, control your nervous system, because it seems like you're very, again, anxious, worried about earthly things. We're human. Of course, we're going to worry about earthly things. Sagittarius does that too. Okay. Relationships. Somebody is around for financial gain. Or chances are, if it's not that, one of you is the breadwinner and the other one of you might not work. Maybe you don't have a 9-to-5 or whatever. There's no income for maybe a partner, whatever sort of partnership, if this is whatever dynamic, if it's a romantic one, if it's a platonic one. It feels like something might not be level as far as income is concerned. Yet at the same time, you share responsibilities with someone. So if it's not financial responsibility that you share with someone, maybe it's kids. Maybe you might be connected to somebody that has kids with somebody else. Like they still have emotional, financial ties ties with, like blood ties, like kids with somebody, perhaps. It looks like there's some regret about how something went down. It seems like this is really heavy on somebody's mind. Because let's talk about a Taurus. Somebody can't seem to move on. Somebody is stuck in this loop, this mental loop thinking about you. Somebody can't seem to let go, or they feel like they at least need some closure. And it might be this King of Wands, this Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius. Somebody's missing you at this time. Maybe if they have pictures of you, they're pulling up these pictures on their phone, on their laptop or whatever. They're visiting your social media to kind of, you know what I mean, like look at pictures of you. Maybe on your wedding day. And maybe this is somebody wishing that maybe they married you when they had the chance to. Here's this Virgo. You must know a Virgo for some of you. If this is a friend or a family member. Did somebody get married? Or propose to somebody else is what this looks like. Maybe somebody moved on kind of quickly or gave off the appearance that they moved on kind of quickly. But that situation may have fizzled out. It may have come to an end. Somebody's in a relationship. It looks like somebody's not happy. So something might be getting ready to come to an end. Chances are this already happened. Maybe you did end something with someone. Maybe things are still kind of rocky between you and this person. I think somebody wants to find a resolution to some issues. They might be ongoing, and maybe they're feeling a bit discouraged about there being a way to fix this. It seems like you're skeptical of this person. You might feel like you're always going to be skeptical of this person. They've given you several reasons not to trust them. For some of you, this is a family member. Some of you may be having tension with your mom. Or, as I mentioned to you, some of you might be dating somebody that has kids. Maybe you don't like their baby's mom. Maybe they're a mama's boy or whatever. They do everything their mom tells them to do. Or maybe that's causing friction in your relationship. Whatever the case, it seems like there's something like this going on. Something is stunting the growth of your relationship. And it seems like it has a lot to do with an outsider in your situation. Someone other than you and your partner. There's a lot of gossip here. Somebody is eager to maybe find out your business so they can run and tell it to other people. Taurus. Or you're the one that gossips in the situation, possibly. Somebody has decided that rather than worrying about what's going on between the two of you, they're just going to focus on their own path right now. And they're feeling that that's the best course of action, is to just focus on what they're going through right now in their own lives and not try to pick things up between the two of you again. Because it looks like somebody feels like they've done this before and it was a dead end, and somebody is tired of repeating the same dead end cycle. So they're like, well, forget that. I'm going to move forward and I'm going to focus on my own path, this sort of thing. For some of you, that's somebody doing work on you. Some witchcraft. It might hit a little bit. It might affect your pockets a little bit, possibly for some of you. But it looks like you're transmuting this energy so that it no longer has the same effect on you. Or if it's not you, then this is your guides, kind of ushering that energy away. I think somebody has an apology. Give me a second, because I don't think I see that apology. I'm going to have to take that back. I feel the apology. So I think maybe that is the case. Maybe somebody feels that they should apologize to you. Let's see. Are they? No. I think somebody's going to feel it. They're going to think it, but they may not say a word. In fact, I think I don't necessarily see anybody talking in this reading. So bear with me. That's crazy. Okay, it's not crazy, I guess. Somebody wants to resolve something with you, but they're not going to say it. Is there a reason, Spirit? Well, you don't trust them anyway. I don't know, you might be prone to arguing with this person. Maybe you just don't get along. You're like oil and water with this person. Or you feel like somebody has an agenda. They're trying to control you or control the situation. Somebody's like, no, I'm not about to be manipulated by this person. So somebody might feel like somebody's bringing some manipulation to the situation, is what this feels like. I don't know. I don't think I see this apology. Again, I feel like somebody's thinking about the apology. You might get it, you might not. It just depends on this person. I think somebody's having a lot of negative thoughts. Or this is you possibly deciding you're going to eliminate these negative thoughts. Something about the left side. I don't know. Left side, left brain. What is that? Maybe that's your logical side. Somebody could be very logical. Somebody wears glasses, by the way. I see a lot here to do with children. Somebody might want to reunite for the sake of a child. Or maybe this is children. Maybe there's siblings that are separated within, like through households, or somebody might have kids in different households. Maybe this is family coming together, siblings coming together. I definitely see something regarding siblings, children, short distance travel that could be relevant. I see somebody with an addiction. This could possibly be a drinking addiction. When I see someone possibly refusing recovery, they might realize that they have an addiction, but admitting that they have an addiction outside of their own head might be difficult. Somebody in your situation might feel like they're a servant, like they're having to serve, comply, cater to somebody kind of thing. But they may not feel like they get the same in return. So I see somebody that maybe you're related to somebody. Maybe somebody's a distant cousin of yours. I don't know what this is, but I definitely see an earth sign, Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn. I see an issue with the courts. Maybe there's some financial stress regarding a court situation for you. Some of you, maybe you're talking to a lawyer. You're getting some sort of legal advice about something. You're going to be celebrating. This is Aries season. Who's after Aries? You, Taurus. So maybe your birthday, obviously your birthday is coming up. But you could definitely be celebrating the birthday of an Aries. But maybe somebody might be getting in touch with you for your birthday or around your birthday. It's an air sign that shows up to your reading. Aquarius. You've been working very hard for something. You might wonder, okay, am I doing this in vain? Is this ever going to yield any positive results? And it is. You're going to be receiving some tangible success, Taurus. Something you've been patiently waiting for begins to take shape this week. And you might be aligned with the perfect people to make this happen. So I think maybe you're joining forces with someone. Maybe this is someone helping you to succeed at something that means a lot to you. Spirit, show me more about this. Yeah, something's a blessing in disguise in your situation. Yeah, Spirit guides, they want you to have absolute certainty that something that you want is taking place. I don't think you see it yet, but it's definitely getting ready to play out. And I think for some of you, you're being approved for something. This might be a loan. It could be, yeah, definitely something related to credit. Maybe you didn't think you were going to get approved for something as far as credit worthiness is concerned, but you might get a yes. Some of you, you're house hunting, you're jobs searching, car hunting. You're going to be able to get a yes. Because it looks like you've been working a lot of overtime, or this is you kicking things into high gear and deciding you're going to be in beast mode this week about something that means a lot to you, something that you're working on, especially if this has something to do with your creative talent. Again, what's approved for you is possibly even a loan. Okay. You're following up with someone, or someone is possibly following up with you. It seems like some money begins to flow through. This gives you the ability to pay off some bills that you're stressed about. I think you've been going through some financial challenges. So I think things are about to be realigned for you. There might be a change up with the weather this week, so Spirit wants you to be a bit prepared. When it comes to your work, definitely it looks like Spirit is leveling you up. They're blessing you. There's going to be some changes with this, though. It seems like Spirit is saying, you know, it's time to go to the next level. Spirit is demanding a lot more of you this week. This change is going to feel uncomfortable, but it's definitely worth it in the conclusion of things, okay? Because it looks like you come into the reading one way and you're leaving a situation feeling like $1,000,000. So something shifts for you this week. I think it's your mindset, and I think it's finally that you can see a light at the end of the tunnel and things are starting to come together. Or if there's a lack of ideas or a lack of direction, all of a sudden you get some sort of a breakthrough. You get the clarity that you need to be able to move forward. Now, Spirit is saying the breakthrough that you're looking for is contingent upon what you do with this clarity that comes in. The clarity doesn't automatically fix your situation. Again, it's what you do with this clarity to make something happen in your life, to help you to make a choice, to help you to kind of clear away an obstacle in your life. Spirit comes in to give you assistance with this. You're sending a messenger your way. What you do with that is up to you, okay? Spirit guides, anything else for the Taurus nation? Yeah. You know, say you're being approved, you're getting a yes for something. Somebody could possibly be getting let go from a job. So somebody could be concerned about their job performance, or whether or not they're going to have a job. Spirit guys, what is the advice for the Taurus? I'm trying not to call you Gemini. The Taurus nation. Some patterns that are in your life, okay? How am I going to put this? You got some patterns. This is Spirit. Okay, unhealthy patterns is what I'm talking about. You're repeating this over and over and over again. This could even be what you have ongoing in your head. You're repeating this. You're trying to tell me some sort of mental thing that you're thinking about in a loop. You're ruminating about something, some sort of pattern. You guys are saying, it's time to break that pattern and replace it with a different one, a productive one. That pattern is broken. That pattern isn't producing any sort of positive results in your life. So Spirit is saying, whatever that is, they want you to become aware of the pattern. And they're inviting you to choose differently. Whatever this mental rehearsal is in your head, they're telling you there's a lot of resistance. They're having you question this. Is this creating readiness, or is it creating resistance? Is it creating fear, or is it creating focus? So they're telling you every thought and every word that you're telling yourself plays a huge role. So they're inviting you to recognize what this is and change it. Something is breaking your clarity. It's creating a lot of monotony in your life, where Spirit is trying to call you out of that. That Taurus Nation and Cross Watchers, this concludes your 7-day forecast with Angelic Ascensions. If you'd like to book a personal, my website happens to be AngelicAscensions.com. Thank you, Taurus Nation and Cross Watchers, for tuning in. Have a blessed, beautiful, productive week. I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace out. Thanks for